Yes, people, and welcome back to another edition of the Rival Show with your boy Ashmatic. We have a few rival guests, and we're gonna see what is really good. We've got our boy John back on again. How's it going, John? How you doing? How you feeling?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. We'll have to talk about last night at some point, I suppose, but we'll get to that.
But other than that, you're all right. You're good.
Yeah, good, mate. All good.
Oh, nice. All right, cool. We've also got. He's not there at the moment. We also got Jacob, but he's actually not around at the moment. Let's bring on my next guest, Stefan. How's it going, bro? You good?
I'm good, man. Not been so good lately, but yeah, still.
Okay. Jacob, how's it going, man? You good?
Hey, man, too blessed to be stressed. Happy Radu Dragusin Day to all the Tottenham fans out there. Absolutely 100%. Look, things looking okay right now. The tree's bearing some fruit. I'm about to see what it tastes like.
I hear it, man. I'm not mad at it. And also, we also have my boy, Uncle Yomes. How you feeling today, bro? You good?
Yeah, all good, man. Bless up. Hello, everyone.
All right. And just for the people that, maybe viewing in for the first time, what team do you support? Who you repping, Mr. Yom?
For my sins, the mighty Manchester United.
Stefan as well. Who you repping? I know a few people know who you are, but what team are you supporting?
The one and only, the Kings of London, Arsenal.
Oh, and yeah, John, as you can see, says it's a Chelsea view right there, so we know who you're representing right now. So guys, it's been an eventful week for Spurs, of course. So I want to talk about Spurs first before we get into our rivals. Well, obviously, Spurs have just signed a player. We're going to get into Dragusin in a sec, but we've also signed a player, an ex-player from Chelsea. Now, Manchester United, obviously, they've signed Mount. Arsenal has signed Havertz. But we felt a bit left out, so we thought we'd go one step further.
No, Ash. That's not. Don't conglomerate those. These are all separate events. And also, this is a loan deal with an option. It's in our hands. We didn't spend 65 million.
Jacob, you're right. You're right. It's an amazing signing. It's an amazing.
No, I just want to I'm going to get everyone's point of view. So, Jacob, carry on, and then I'm going to go into John next, and then I'll get down to Stefan, and then Yoms. What is your view on this signing? So, Jacob, talk to me, man. Talk to me nice. I want to know about
when we see rivals spending 65 million on Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, etc., what have yous, and we spending 4 million on a salary to have a guy for 6 months, and at the summer we'll decide. You go ahead, give me, bro. If he gives me 15 GA, let's pick that option up. But if he doesn't, Alviederzane, go back to Schnitzelville. It's very simple. Very simple for me. A very astute piece of business. Now, the player is one of those things. I was jealous of Chelsea when they signed him initially. Of course, I joined in and laughed. Sorry about my son, by the way. But, of course, I joined in and laughed whenever he was doing absolutely awful, missing sitters, open nets, one-on-ones, completely fumbling the bag. I enjoyed it. Of course, who wouldn't enjoy it? But my point is that bro, it's a loan with an option, not an obligation. Bro's going to only play while Son's gone. That's the way I see it. Or he could be a better Richarlison. And if that's the case, then long may it continue. At the end of the day, it's win-win with a high ceiling. That's in a business world, that's a good cheeky little bit of business, in my opinion.
fair play.
Can I just ask one question? If Man United or
You
Arsenal,
can ask as many questions as you want.
or any of the other teams that signed Timo Werner on loan, Jacob, would you have said that was an astute signing? Don't give me this shit, Jacob, please. You would have laughed at.
I would say if it was the same piece of legitimate business, I would say that's not bad, but haha, of course the standards are in the toilet. But here's the thing.
But now
we know where the standards are with Timo Werner. That's here. All he can do is go up or stay right here. Either way, we need a warm body. Is he better than Brian Hill? Yes. Is he better than Richarlison in press, in ball, in football IQ, in the defensive shape? I think so. I think yes. This is two players that would start versus Manchester United that he's going to come in. Alejo Veliz is no longer going to be able to play either. We are missing warm body. We need a guy to run. We need a guy to say, hey, go press that guy until you got nothing left in the tank. We don't have healthy bodies to do that. This guy is that. What other winger could we bring in on a $4 million fee or £4 million, whatever you want to call it? Who else could we bring in that's actually Premier League experienced and it has the potential to bang a goal or two? I'm saying two. That's my goal. He hits 5. That's money well spent. 5. Oh, if he gets me 5 GA, everyone's gonna talk to me nicely.
Okay. I mean, I just think it's quite. It's like having selective. I don't know, selective bias. So if it was Man United or Arsenal that had signed him on loan, everybody would have laughed here on this panel. If it was, Chelsea at Leipzig, suddenly now Spurs fans think that Ange can get the best out of him when he got displaced.
Bro, he got Richarlison scoring.
Huh? Sorry?
He got Richarlison to score, which is a pretty good feat, I would say. He's gotten Ben Davies to look at. Rivals have been saying Ben Davies actually isn't that bad. When I'm complaining that he's been employed for 10 years, they say, "Oh well, Ben Davies isn't as bad as Dyer." Yeah, he may not be as bad as Dyer, but again, the quality is so low that anything coming in is at least going to match that or be better. That's my point, and that's why I think, like, if you look, if Arsenal signed it, yes, you could say, but again, Brian Hill.
Jacob.
Does Brian Hill get in any of those names that you mentioned earlier? No. If Brian Hill could do what Werner did at Chelsea, this is a talk to me so nicely signing. This is a Moneyball signing.
Here's the thing. Quick chime in. Yeah. Here's the thing, right?
Go on.
United were initially looking at Timo Werner, right? Which is, to me, my initial response was, why on earth are we looking at Timo Werner? He wasn't banging goals at Chelsea. He's gone over to where you getting him from again?
RB Leipzig.
RB Leipzig.
And his record is 2-14, right? And he doesn't have the most.
I'm not worried about that.
He's on the bench for Leipzig. He doesn't start.
Yeah, he just came back from injury too. He was like a few months out.
Yeah, but your argument is that it's an astute piece of business because if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, you send him back. And that you just need a warm body. But the problem is he's here to solve a problem, right? Otherwise you wouldn't be getting him. If it doesn't work, you haven't solved that problem. You are desperately trying to get into the top 4 and win a trophy. With Timo Werner, if Timo Werner does not work, you won't fulfill that. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not as simple as works. We send if it works, we keep him. If it doesn't, we send him back. If it doesn't work, you haven't fulfilled the whole point of bringing him here. So that's not an astute piece of business.
I think the whole reason
it's a Levy classic. It's a Levy classic business, the Timo Werner side. It's Levy classic. It's and the thing that I think Jacob is looking through I
don't think so. I'm sorry to cut you off, but a Levy classic would be signing him to a 2 or 3 year deal when we don't know what he's going to offer us. That's what we would do in the past. Look, again, I love bringing up the players in which that he's here to replace. Alejo Veliz had a serious knee injury. He's not going to play the rest of the season, it looks like. That's one attacker. Brian Hill, healthy or not, that's a guy that, sorry for the balloons. I don't know why it does this shit sometimes. It do balloons and fireworks. Hey, happy Dragusa Day if we get some fireworks. But look, the Werner thing, I looked, obviously when I heard it at first was like, man, what the hell are we doing, right? But then I started thinking about it. When the business financials came out, I was just like, well, if this guy can come in, serve us for 2 months while Son is gone at the Asian Games or whatever, if he can do that, then it is the job accomplished. Well, I'm not asking him to unseat anyone who was already here. He's not going to take Brennan Johnson's starting position. Brennan Johnson will start somewhere along that line. He may take Richarlison's. He's for sure going to take Brian Hill's. I think he's better than Maynard Solomon as well. These are names that we have that we're waiting for them to be healthy.
Or is he coming to sit on your bench?
He's going to sit on the bench.
He's coming for a few reasons. From his aspect as well, he's trying to play back into the Germany team. He was dropped by the national team, and he wants to play in the Euros. That's his goal. He also has a chip on his shoulder. Think about it. As a man.
Who have you got, from who you've got available at the moment, right? Manchester United game on Sunday.
Richarlison,
Does Timo Werner
We
play?
got Brennan Johnson.
Kulusevski, no?
Kulu's gonna play at the 10, bro. I hate him as a winger. I need Kulu at the 10. I don't want him as a winger.
I don't think he's gonna
I'm
play.
talking about front
I don't
three.
think he's gonna play as the 10 against Man United for one main reason. Defensively, he tracks back. Brennan Johnson, I'm gonna be honest. Like, you basically signed Timo Werner is the older German version of Brennan Johnson, which is he's fast, he's one-footed, Timo Werner, poor at finishing, and lacks any sort of end product, and might have a run or two on the counter attack.
Decent
They're
passing,
they're
press.
very similar.
Defensively is astute. Again, there's things that are good. There are things that are bad. He's not coming in here being the finished product. What team's getting rid of their guy in January on loan? You know what I mean? Like, if you're getting rid of
Teams
him
that
on
don't
loan,
like to
that
play.
shows that you have no future with him. But it's also, Timo Werner was a matter of circumstance. He got injured, and then the dude, I can't remember if his last name starts with a O or a G or something, Aguni, or I don't know his name, but there's a guy
Openda.
who came in,
Openda.
Openda.
He's
He
sick.
came in,
Yeah,
and he's
really good.
balling. He
Yeah,
is
he's
ball.
sick.
He literally took that position from him. So it's a little bit of circumstances when we look at, okay, he did this at Leipzig, he did that. But again, I'm just looking at the player profile, which is 1, he can run. 2, he can run with the ball at his feet. 3,
No, he can't.
defensive.
He can't dribble.
He can. He did. Look at his dribbling stats when he was with Chelsea. Just talking from Premier League standpoint, he can dribble. Now, again, in front of the net, he's atrocious. In the box, he's atrocious. We know this. I don't need him to come in and be individually brilliant. I need him to just do what we're trying to do, which is a teamwork goals. We don't require Son individual brilliance. Shimmy, shimmy. Let me drop it off now. It's starts from either the back, we switch to the play, and then from there we start the passing triangles. The way that we build up our goals, all we need is a piece. And what his piece is pace, is football IQ. And again, a guy who's been scolded and made fun of by an entire nation, by the world's best league. He's been scolded and laughed at. What better than a guy with a chip on his shoulder? Villain arc begins tomorrow. That's what I'm saying. Like, all I see is positives with this signing. Yes, the name. Yes, what we've seen is laughable. And we could say, oh, it's a Levy. It's not a Levy. If this is a typical Levy move, he signs him to a 2 or 3 year deal, and then he's asked for 6 months, and we wish it was a loan. That's a Levy masterclass.
Just before you jump in, Stefan, I wanted to get the Chelsea view. John,
yeah, please.
I want to hear your opinion on Mr. Werner. What was your take, and what was your experience of him at the Bridge?
Ash, I'll text you today saying what a good signing Werner will be for Tottenham. And there's reasons behind it. People can have their opinion on Timo Werner. How many people in Panama actually sat there and watched him live? Timo Werner will fit Tottenham perfectly. His work rate is unbelievable. Do you know what?
I didn't even get to work
normally
rate
at
yet.
Chelsea, you get dug out after about 10 games if you're not performing. Timo Werner tried so hard at Chelsea. He worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. And I think he's going to fit Tottenham's system, and he's a better finisher than people give him credit for. I know people are going to say, yeah, but he missed those, this, that, and the other. But he's a better finisher. He's a better finisher than Richarlison. End of story. And that's the best Tottenham got at the moment. So
point. I just want to emphasize, we are relying on Richarlison. He's so right.
Tottenham and Postecoglou. Postecoglou wants to play pressing football from the front. Timo Werner, kick.
So,
but wait, he also wants to play possession-based football. The Chelsea, which Timo Werner cannot. He's not technical enough. We both know this.
When we play possession-based football, how often do you see Richarlison with all the possession? He's not. He lays it off, makes a run. We don't need him to hold the ball in our possession.
How many times have any of you watched Timo Werner live? Actually watched him live?
I've watched a lot of games. I haven't watched him live, but I watched a lot
of
Chelsea
in person, or you mean like on the telly?
No, I mean in person.
When I watched him at Leipzig, when I watched him at Chelsea, there was still attributes that I liked about him. Again, I was jealous when Chelsea signed him.
The point he's making is that he saw him live in the flesh. Little things that pick up, because when you're watching it on TV, it doesn't pan the wide view. Like John might have a view where he's actually in front of the player and he's able to see little things that we're not able to see. Do you know what I'm saying? Is that what you're trying to say, John?
Yeah, you see things like you see Timo Werner. sprinting across the back line to harry fullbacks, centre backs, because he wants to get the ball back, because he wants to be progressive. He's going to tick all the boxes for Tottenham. It's everything Postecoglou wants. He wants someone who's going to work, someone who's going to run, and he might chip in a few goals. But I think if Timo Werner catches fire early doors at Tottenham, with the service he's going to get from that side, the way Tottenham play, the way it's all close quarters, you don't really play that wide. I mean, you've got Kulusevski and you've got Johnson, but they don't technically play like wide players. So I think that will help him. And another thing that'll help him is he will have a manager who will believe in him, who will really, really push him on. I mean, you look at who we had at Chelsea, had Lampard. We all know how that ended. So, and apparently he wasn't even.
Not just that, he's going to put his arm around him and make him feel valuable and wanted. And that is a couple of things that he did not feel in England by the fans. Is that fair to say? I know I just met you, but the Chelsea fans, from my perspective,
he played him in every single. So he played him as a 9. He sucked because he wasn't physical or big enough. He played him as a right winger. He sucked because he wasn't technical or fast or powerful enough to go past fullbacks in the Premier League. He played him on the left wing. He wasn't technical enough because he's too one-footed. Timo Werner, you basically signed Brennan Johnson with a bigger salary, which is.
I think the reasons why Spurs have signed him is the same reason why Ten Hag would have wanted him, right? Like that work rate, it counts for a lot, right? And Timo, listen, before Timo Werner came to Chelsea, he was doing the business in Germany, and so I think Spurs are hoping they can unlock that player that.
But that was 3 years ago. No,
even a fraction of that makes
that
it a business.
That was a long time ago. But if you're talking about a loan deal where all you're paying is $4 million and a salary, it can work out. My thing is I'm glad Spurs got him and not United, because I think there's better options out there. Guirassy, for example, is a player who, fair enough, he's 27, but he's hit 14 goals this season already. He's a goal scorer. I think he would have been a better fit for Spurs than Timo Werner would be, but obviously you don't want to pay that.
I'm sorry, what was the name?
Guirassy.
From the center forward that was on like a ridiculous.
Yeah, and he's got a release clause of like 16 million pounds.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna sign him, and I'll tell you guys why. He's 29, guys. So if you're gonna sign him for 20 million, he's gonna want a massive salary package, and he's gonna want a long-term deal. And I think that's the main reason why nobody is gonna sign him. And I don't know what the comments are. Spurs go marching on your 5th, guys. Like, relax. You're 5th. Like
6 months into our endeavor, and we're 1 point behind a guy 4 years, 700 million into his.
Well done.
Yes, sir. Talk to me nicely.
January. Yeah. It's January. If you're 1 point in January,
and when we were top of November, it's just November. Yeah, it's always just. Again, I don't mind when anyone says, "Oh, it's just talk, just yada yada." That's cool. Let's keep that same energy, because by the time everyone sees the vision, it's gonna be too late.
Keep the same energy at the end of the season when you finish 6th or 7th, and then you tell me, "Oh, but this is a process. We
won just as much as you lot." Okay.
Yeah. We'll see.
Let's go ahead.
We'll see who finishes.
I mean, again, you spent 180 million in the summer, and you've taken steps backwards. You've
backwards.
I don't know what. Yeah, you've taken step backwards.
Okay.
Right, hold on a second. Hold on. Let John jump in. Go on, John. What are you going to say?
I'm going to make on something that I think Stefan said earlier about he played him right wing, played him left wing, played him in number 9, and he was shitting all 3. He's right. He was shitting all 3, but at least he tried, which is what Postecoglou is going to want. Second thing is as well, Lampard also tried to play Havertz as a centre forward. He tried to play Havertz as a left winger. He tried to play Havertz as a number 9. Frank Lampard is clueless, so you can't take anything from Frank Lampard. If Timo Werner was at Chelsea when there was a manager in there like an Ancelotti or maybe a Mourinho or someone like that, you'd have seen the best of Timo Werner. Frank Lampard ruined Timo Werner.
Did he only have Frank Lampard?
But wait.
Oh, he had Tuchel as well. But what about the RB Leipzig?
He only had Tuchel for 3 months.
Yeah.
Did he have only Tuchel for 3 months? He had Tuchel for a year and a half. That's not true. He had Tuchel for the Champions League
for 2 years, and one of them was under Lampard because Lampard signed him.
No, that's
he won the Champions League.
That's true, but I remember he had him for the first 7 months after he became manager too. And then the season after, you guys won the Champions League. He played him literally everywhere, trying to play him into form. The same with Kai Havertz. I agree with you.
Same season. Lampard was sacked the same season as we won the Champions League. Tuchel took over when he was in the quarters.
Yes, but then Werner played.
After Werner went.
Did he? No, that
over under. Oh, what's the over under that Timo Werner ends up with more goals than Martinelli or Jesus? What's the over under on that?
Okay.
That's American bet terminology. Like over under means.
I mean,
I'm less looking for a number, more so looking for just some kind of rationale here, because I'm told all this that about Tottenham's.
I think he'll get 10 goals and assists.
No chance.
If he gets 5 and 5,
he's not going to play, guys.
How much did you spend on Gabriel Jesus? And you talk about this and that about Werner, Stefan.
Werner's assists at Chelsea. Look at how many assists he had.
Are we talking?
20, right?
You reckon?
There's no chance. He's not going to play.
Werner as well, that people don't know about this. He had 31 goals disallowed for offside by VAR, which any other season obviously wouldn't have been disallowed because of VAR.
Oh my God.
31 goals in 31 goals in about 15 months.
But they were disallowed. That's like saying Adebayor had 60 goals disallowed through offside. That shows he's really good. They were offside.
You're missing the point. The point I'm trying to make is he will get himself in the positions to score them goals. Mm-hmm. He will get himself into the right positions.
Here's a question. Would you take him back at Chelsea?
It's going to be Haaland. I'm saying he's going to be in them positions.
Would you take him back at Chelsea?
So it's a good sign.
Right now, of course. Right now at Chelsea, I think you would take him up. You've got Madueke at Chelsea, who is. I watched him yesterday against Middlesbrough. He was so bad.
Can't single him out. Yeah.
No, but would Chelsea, like on the real, as a Chelsea,
it wasn't Raheem Sterling also starting.
Would you take him back at Chelsea right now?
Werner?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What, over that Carl to Nicholas Jackson? Absolutely.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Mate, I'll take Kerry Dixon back.
Even though if you look at Nicholas Jackson's scoring record, it's not that bad. I know he misses a lot.
It's not that bad.
But clutches. That's what it is.
A bag of sand.
The hat trick that he scored against Tottenham, that kind of inflates numbers.
No. You know what? I'm reading the actual chat. Hype up. This is this life of a Spurs fan. Good vibes FC. Let's just, Timo Werner is the next revelation. Hype it up. Lamp it up.
Good.
I want to see it.
No, you're falling into the trap. It's perfect. That's exactly what I want you to do.
Jacob, I just know if Arsenal had signed him on loan, or Man United, or Newcastle, or whoever.
Would you like Timo Werner over Eddie Nketiah?
Over Eddie Nketiah? No.
What?
You're using what you're assuming someone's argument to be
Werner's
in a hypothetical situation to back up your own argument that actually doesn't make sense in any debate forum whatsoever.
No, it's not a debate. I don't rate Eddie Nketiah, but that doesn't
mean what we're doing here. No, I mean what I'm saying is you're saying if so and so had done this, then you would be saying that. Like, how deep down Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole do we need to get to where you just say, this is what I think. This is like, you don't have to premeditate if Man United signed him what my opinion would be, because that's irrelevant.
No, I just know.
You have my opinion right now on what it is for Tottenham to sign it. That's my point. Like, what are we doing?
No, I know, but I'm just saying that because the fact that you signed him and not Arsenal or Man United, that's why you're all positive and stuff.
Bro, he'd score more goals than Martinelli. Come on, talk to me about Arsenal's front line.
A Spurs fan mate of mine, when United were being linked with him all over Sky Sports,
took the piss, right?
What on earth are you guys doing?
Exactly.
As soon as Spurs went under the noses and signed him,
it's an astute signing.
He was like, actually,
it
won't be such a bad.
I'm right here. We don't have to talk about what Stefan heard from a Spurs fan, what your homies texting you. I'm literally right here. I can tell you where I was at.
I'm just validating. Look, I don't have a dog in the race. As I said, when we first got linked to him, my initial thoughts was, why? There must be somebody better out there. But listen, you guys have signed him. We'll see. Like, only time can tell, innit? Like,
Wait, I just
I'll put it this way. I'll put it this way.
he might
Playing
be
in the
good,
front
you know.
line at United is not the same as playing in the front line at Tottenham Hotspur. Playing at
it's
United,
not.
there's a different kind of pressure that when you play at Manchester United. So
Yes.
yes, it would look differently if Manchester United signed him because it's like, bro, you just got rid of a guy who's better than Timo Werner, but because he's clashing with the manager, like again, United doing it doesn't make sense. It's the same a piece of business would still be astute business, but it doesn't make sense. For us,
What?
it makes sense and it's a astute piece of business. That's what I'm trying to say.
just
With
wanna-
United, it doesn't make sense at all.
But Jacob, both Man United and Spurs are fighting for top 4. So you guys have the same aim. So why does Man United, it doesn't make sense, but with Spurs, it's an astute signing. Man United need wingers. So do you.
You got
I
to
would
look
say Man
beyond the
United,
surface level, and then you might understand what I'm saying.
Okay, I still don't. I would say Man United need Timo Werner more than you guys. They have no right wingers. Literally, if you listen to Man United fans, I have a few friends. If Garnacho isn't playing well, Anthony's crap. Okay,
They're one of the best right wingers in European football. 2 years ago, 2 years ago, Jadon Sancho was one of the best right wingers in European.
2 years ago. Stop with this.
But he's not a bad player because Eric Ten Hag didn't like something he said. He shunned him out of the club.
No,
It's only Eric Ten Hag.
I'm not having that.
Ole was the same.
I mean,
Ole didn't rate him
United
either.
just
He
spent
didn't play him
100
well.
million on their right wing. So as far as I'm concerned, their manager got their man.
Sorry, you can look like R9 in Germany and come to the Premier League and struggle week in, week out. The Jadon Sancho problem was a problem a long time before he fell out with Ten Hag. Jadon Sancho has never done it in the United shirt. He had one good game against Arsenal, and since then he's been terrible. So let's not pretend that, we had Jadon Sancho who's better than Timo Werner. If you're asking me who I'm taking in a Manchester United shirt right now out of Jadon Sancho and Timo Werner, based on what I've seen of the players in the Premier League, I'm taking Timo Werner all day, every day. Because Sancho.
No, what about Brian Hill?
Yeah, I agree.
What if I said you could have Brian Hill, or you could get a Timo Werner?
Sancho doesn't play on the right, so
look,
it's non-starter.
Football, he's going to play goal.
Uncle Yom, let me ask you, which I love the points that you're bringing up, but so you're saying you would take Werner over Sancho? Would you take Sancho over Brian Hill, based on what you've seen in the Premier League?
Yeah.
To be honest, I've not seen a lot of Brian Hill, but all I can say is that Sancho.
He's played over 15 games in the Premier League.
I would struggle if we're giving player ratings, for example. I don't know what I would give Brian Hill because I don't think I've seen enough of him to give him. I'm not going to sit here and lie, right? But Sancho, I would struggle to give him more than a 5 in a Manchester United shirt, and that's just me being real.
Just to come in real quick, guys. I know you wanted to jump in, John, but I want to bring in Rich. He's a Liverpool fan. I want to get your take on this whole Timo Werner situation. It's got the fan base split, not just in the Spurs community, but across the Premier League as well. What's your take on it?
Yeah, it's a good move for you guys. I think he's got stuff to prove. Obviously, his stint at Chelsea didn't go well for a number of reasons. I think there's a player in there with Werner, and Tottenham at the moment, with the way you're playing and your style, with the things you're trying to do, it's probably a good situation for Spurs. So it's a win-win for the pair of you guys. I think there's only a couple of spots in the Prem that would have suited him, and I think luckily for him, he's ended up at one of the right ones, which is Spurs in this case.
Fair enough. All right, just I want to move away from the subject. I know it's a big topic, but whilst
he's scoring at the weekend. I know you want to move on, but yes, he is scoring at the weekend. In case you're wondering.
Whilst I got Yoms here because he's not going to be here for too long, I just want to get a quick prediction basically from everyone about the Manchester United game, because that is the preview. It's going to be Tottenham versus Manchester United. So I just want to know what people's thoughts on what the score's going to be, who's going to come up on top. Obviously, Man United, they're not on the greatest of forms. I know they won their last game in the FA Cup. And Spurs, again, performance-wise, we're not super cooking, but we're getting the results over the line. I'll just start with I'll start with Rich. Rich just came in, so I'll start with you again, Rich.
Timo.
What do you think?
That game on the weekend, away win. I think Spurs will be comfortable.
Of course, he's gonna say a win. He's a Liverpool fan.
No, Spurs will be comfortable. What's Man United doing this year? At Old Trafford?
Man United are terrible, but it's Spurs. They're gonna go to Old Trafford, play with a super high line, one ball over the top to Rashford, and he's gonna score it.
Ash, can you tell him we don't even play that high of a line anymore? In the
No,
sense
you
that he's
don't. No,
making it
that's
out
why
to
you
be?
gave up 20 shots to Bournemouth, 25 to Brighton, and 18 to Everton. Yeah.
How many shots did you
don't
give
play
up to
high line.
Bournemouth?
What?
How
Sorry?
many shots?
Bro, there's a difference between playing a high line and conceding chances, but carry on.
He's an Arsenal fan, by the way. All right, cool.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, Stefan's an Arsenal fan. Yobes, obviously you're a United man. What do you think? What do you think are the problems for both teams?
I think injuries. If we're gonna, injuries are the problem for both teams.
Well,
I think with United we are so unpredictable. It depends on who he starts and who he plays where. I think if we go with a Mainu in midfield,
Mainu's good. I like Mainu.
I think we can get some kind of control on the game. Use the counter attack. He's really good at winning possession, distributing really well. If we go with Scott McTominay, we lose that. So it really does depend. But also, I just think that there's something going on at United. You can't have this number of injuries, this number of people ill. It's bananas. It's absolutely bananas. He's not been able
I'd
to
take a sick day too if Ten Hag was my manager, but
are you Ten Hag in or out? I just wanted to ask that as well. Like, are you still in? You still believing in the process?
It's a tough one because I believe in giving managers a chance. I think the club has been the Glazers have been shocking over the last since they've been there, but the last year, 2 years in particular, they've been absolutely shocking. So coupled with all the injuries, I feel a bit for Ten Hag. That said, some of these decisions are just a joke. So you can't, in our last game, he took off Manu at half time. It was 0-0, took off Manu, brought on don't even remember who. And we ended up losing all kind of control that we had in the midfield and ended up losing the game. So you can't, you just can't legislate for that. So who's going to win against Spurs? I don't know. It depends. Depends on who plays.
Young, very quickly. How many injuries you got at United?
A lot.
10, I think 10 players. Was it 10 or 11 players?
At one point, we was banging on the door of 15, 16.
Yeah.
So where's it now?
Crazy.
So now I think we're banging on the door of maybe 12, 13. We still don't have our best centre back,
Martinez,
our best defensive midfielder.
Shaw. Isn't Shaw out also?
Injured. Malasia's injured. Do you see what I mean? So at one point we had our entire back four injured. And then on top of that, this is where you've got to start looking at Ten Hag. Is you've got someone like Onana in goal, So it's just, and he's stayed specifically for this game when he should be at the African Nations Cup, right? And we should be giving our number 2, Bahinda, a chance. So I just don't understand.
I just wanted to ask you, because I have a lot of Man United fans here where I'm, where I am, obviously like everywhere. And it's very 50-50. Like either people really back Onana, I've noticed with Man United fans, or they really think he's awful. Like there's no in the middle. What's your opinion?
The thing is, you need consistency, right? Every manager, every goalkeeper, every defense needs consistency. What I find hilarious, specifically about Spurs, I must say, is when Spurs were firing, they did not give 2 hoots about who was injured in other teams. The moment they got 2 injuries and it started to crumble, it was all the injuries. Yeah. We've had injuries since day
Arsenal
one.
Too. Arsenal.
Nobody gives 2 hoots.
I don't know what community this is. I don't know
about Arsenal's injuries. But the moment Spurs got 2 players injured, your centre back's injured, it was, my God,
2
because of our injuries. But we had 4.
We had
starting back
we
4.
had 4 in one game.
You know what I'm saying?
I was decimated, bro.
Every team, Arsenal, Man United, Brighton, have had literally Brighton. I think have had the most
disagreeing on
injuries.
that. And Chelsea.
Chelsea have been, and Nkunku's been injured. Lavia has been injured since he's got here. Every single player has been like every signing.
We had two players out.
Two players, and you guys started to cry because we lost 4 on the bounce. United had 17 players injured at that time, including our entire back 4. We was playing a 38-year-old who played
Johnny
in the
Evans
10 years ago, and you man did not care. I was on this show and you man didn't care. So
I still don't care. I wasn't even on that show. I don't care. I've never once used injuries as an excuse. I've only used it as the reasoning why. When people say, "Oh, why did this happen? Why did that happen?" Well, when you got Davies and Royale, two some would argue are natural fullbacks playing.
It's the same as excuse, because to me it's a reason.
Squad building.
Well, I mean, when you go on a platform and someone says, "Why did you do this and that?" and I say, "Well, here's why: because Emerson Royale is not good enough to play right-sided center back. Ben Davies should have been shipped off this team 5 years ago." Like, those are my reasonings why. How we got here is indifferent. I've never used, "Oh, injuries are why, and that's how I've gotten here." No, we've always been here before those injuries. I've known before those injuries Ben Davies not good enough. I've known before those injuries Emerson Royale not good enough. I've known before those injuries I don't want Højbjerg and Oliver Skip in my midfield or Giovanni Lo Celso. These I've known before the injuries, so I've never used injuries once. I can only speak for myself. Again, I don't know these Tottenham fans y'all talking to, these Twitter heads. That's what it sounds like because I see them on Twitter too.
Injuries have nothing to do with you guys going from 1st to 5th.
What do you mean?
So
I would say the drop off in talent is why. The drop off in talent is why we why we went from 1st to 5th.
Why have you got a drop off in talent on the pitch?
That's on ownership.
Yeah,
because we ain't got the right players. We ain't done the right business over the years. That's why we don't have.
Injuries don't affect teams. Manchester City have had KDB injured for goodness knows how long, and then they go and lose the best defensive midfielder in the world, and they dropped off. Even Manchester City lost. Let's not pretend that injuries don't have an impact on teams.
They have a massive, but it depends. I think what Yom is trying to say.
That is a constant though. That's gonna happen to me. Sorry, Stefan. Yeah. I just think like refereeing decisions. I've never once ever said VAR ref have any saying because there's 90 more minutes to go take care of your business. My point in saying that is like. No, I'm serious. When it helps us, I don't care. When it hurts us, I don't care.
In the Liverpool game,
that is a constant. Listen, it is a constant. Injuries is something that is always going to happen in the game. Refereeing fucking up is always going to happen in the game. These are constants. Why would I complain about something that happens every single match? An injury, a ref decision. We know this is going to happen. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather look at why we're in the situations we're into when we have to respond to those variables that are always they're always there. An independent variable. I like to call them. They're just always there. Why am I going to focus on that? We know that's there. It's our job to work around that.
I totally respect and I totally admire what you're saying, but in reality, injuries have an impact on teams. Liverpool lost Van Dijk.
And ref decisions do as well, but why will we emphasize that? That's my point.
Hold on, let me land. Liverpool lost Van Dijk. They lost Canate. They lost Gomez. They lost Matip for pretty much an entire season. They finished 5th. This same team is now top of the league without those injuries. Let's not pretend injuries do not have an impact on teams, especially when you have 5, 6 key injuries, let alone 10, let alone 12.
Yom, I can make this this strawman argument for Arsenal also. We have been missing one of the best midfielders in the league in Thomas Partey. That tandem between Declan Rice and Thomas Partey would have been really, really good. Like it was shown to be. Richie is laughing now, but the moment Mohamed Salah goes out and Trent, he's gonna see.
Stefan,
he's
we've
gonna
currently
see now.
got 9 injuries. We've got 9 injuries. You're not.
No, you haven't. Which injuries? Robertson is the only key player that you've been missing.
Let me tell you. Trent, Matip,
yes,
Robertson, Timiskas, Thiago,
Timiskas and Thiago's been injured for a season and a half now. Don't use these injuries.
No, but you just said when you lost 2 players, we've currently got.
No. I'm talking about key. I'm talking about key players to your system.
A squad game.
No, I agree with you.
Rich, when you lost your defenders, when you lost all those defenders, right, and defensive midfielders, did that impact Liverpool at all?
That's the season we finished. No, because the season you're talking about, we finished 4th.
Yeah, they finished 4th.
So that has nothing to do. That had nothing to do with your start to the
It
season.
was a consequence. We didn't prepare to lose 4 centre backs.
So those injuries. Well, I'm asking, did those injuries have an impact on your?
It had a massive impact because then we had to play 2 19-year-olds as our centre backs.
Exactly.
You
That's
played. What's his name? The guy you signed from
But
Preston.
I don't think you
Phillips?
understand my point by saying all that. Like, I'm saying that is not an excuse. That is going to happen. Of course, injuries, when they decimate your first 11, you're going to look a lot different. But again, it is our job as a club. It is our job to go and put a contingency plan when these things fall through. That's what any good business does. When X, Y, and Z happens, we've got this to fall back on. When you don't have X, Y, or Z or this to fall on, that's where Tottenham's been. That's my point. And so I'm getting a little bit lost in here trying to prove my point, but I'm saying, of course, injuries impact the results of your matches. Of course, ref decisions impact, but I can't get up on YouTube, go on my channel and talk to my viewers and say, yeah, it's the only reason we lost is because the ref. No, there's still 88 other minutes to impact that match.
I don't know who would disagree with.
Injuries
I don't know
is
who
an
would
excuse.
disagree with ref. I don't know who would disagree with ref decisions, but I think it's hard to say. I think anybody who really understands football knows that ref decisions happen, right? But I think when we're talking,
then why am I still hearing about we stole a result at Liverpool? Or
You
when
did.
Liverpool came to town?
You did steal a result.
No, we didn't. We got the 3 points. I still have the 3 points. What are you talking about? We didn't steal nothing.
They disallowed the clear.
Bro, shout out Joe Matip.
Clear goal.
Hey, is that me getting gifted something? No. Pedro Porro applied some pressure, found the crack, and guess what? Joe Matip.
No,
shout
I'm
out
not
that
talking.
right
No. I'm not talking about the own goal. I'm talking about a 0-0.
That's what won the game. That's what won the game. So
I'm talking about a 0-0. Liverpool scored a clear goal that wasn't offside, that would have changed the trajectory of the game, the way Liverpool managed the game, and that maybe it would have.
So you have a crystal ball. You have a crystal ball. You know exactly what Klopp will do in that situation had it gone the other way. That's what you're telling me. Okay, if you do, let me know where the link is. Send it my way. I would love to buy it and get the lottery numbers. You just got this. Oh, in this hypothetical tangent, this is the end result. No one knows these final. You ain't Mystic Meg. She don't even know.
But your whole fan base is based on hypotheticals. The whole time, the whole thing, the whole story or narrative that I hear from your fan base is, if we didn't have the injuries, we'd be challenging for the league.
Talk to me. I'm right here having a conversation. Yeah. Don't talk about my fucking fan base. Again, when Uncle Yom saying someone in my group chat said X, Y, and Z, bro, anyone could say, I got someone on my phone saying this and that. Oh, he's a United fan, and he says, I'm so jealous we didn't get Timo Werner, boo-hoo, just to prove my point. That's what I'm saying. I have a conversation with me. I'm sitting right here. I can tell you. Don't say, I'm blaming this and that. Have the conversation with me. Address my points and tell me why I'm wrong in that faction.
Okay, I'm gonna address your point. So you think the impact of them disallowing a clear goal for Liverpool, there was no impact whatsoever away from home at Spurs? There was no impact of that decision, of that horrendous decision. There was no impact. Is that what you're trying to say?
I just said earlier when I was addressing with Uncle Yom that yes, injuries, yes, ref decisions do impact the eventual outcome. I said that. But whose job is it to respond when the ref does something you don't like or that is necessarily wrong? It is your job to respond. Again, when you go to work and you're like, oh, coworker's mean and he's really affecting my work, it's your job to push through that, get to the other side and get the damn job done. That's my point. Again, when things don't, there's been so many VAR decisions not go Spurs' way that, I'd be sitting up here for an hour listing and time after time where VAR has done it. Every fan base has list after list where VAR, the ref, done X, Y, and Z wrong to them. That's my point. We know this. This is a known thing. Why would we use that as an excuse?
Because that's a different topic because the refereeing is terrible in the UK.
But you're saying Liverpool lost because of a bad that bad refereeing decision didn't dictate what happened the rest of that match. Why didn't they go get another one? Why didn't they change it and then go grab another?
Because
Why didn't
then
they
the
defend
refs
better?
made
Why
more
Joe
mistakes
Matip kick
and
it in the
gave
back of
more
his
red
own net?
cards.
These are all things that we just want to ignore and say, oh, well, since a ref got it wrong, then this would be the obvious outcome because my probability says so. Like, that's just not really fair to a situation.
Guys,
That's
just to come
that's
back to the
predicting the
question, though,
future.
just to come back to the question, I know what you're always going to chime in there, but Man United versus Spurs preview, just real quick. I just want to know what the
Listen,
action.
before I ask real quick, right, Jacob? I know you're saying address me. Don't use hypotheticals. Don't use what you're. At the end of the day, it's football, and everybody has an opinion, right? And if you've got a particular experience, then I don't see a problem with sharing what that experience is. If somebody who's a Spurs fan has said something to me, I'm going to say this person who's a Spurs fan has said this to me. I'm not going to not say it because they didn't say it in front of Jacob. So like my thing is with Spurs. When I'm talking about injuries, it was on when Spurs were high flying and the rest of it and top of the league or second and going absolutely bonkers. It was fantastic. Everybody enjoyed Ange football. I was texting my boy saying, look, the postman's doing the business, hats off in it. But the truth of the matter is, let's not pretend those injuries have not cost you. That's what I'm saying. So if we're talking about Manchester United and Ten Hag,
But injuries are always going to happen.
when
injuries are always going to happen.
Let me land. If we're talking about Ten Hag in or out, the reason why the fan base is so split is because of the injuries. Because Ten Hag in his first season, when he didn't have those injuries, won a cup and finished fourth. Nobody was expecting that. Even in the United fan base, we wasn't expecting that. This year, he's had 17 injuries, not being able to start his back line once. We've not seen his starting back line.
Can I ask you a question on that note?
So that's why we're like, maybe it is the injuries, maybe we give him a chance. As I said,
is it the injuries why Anthony's not been good? Is it the injuries why he said, I'm not going to play the Ajax or the Ten Hag way, I'm going to play the United way? Was that injuries? Or was that Ten Hag?
Anthony's terrible. You know, both can exist.
He's been 100 million. That's his guy. He got from Ajax and then said, I'm not going to play the Ajax way. Is that because of injuries or is that because of Ten Hag?
He's not played the Ajax way because we have had
you buy the Ajax player.
And B, it takes a long time to build a team. It takes a long time to build a squad. So yeah, he's not playing the Ajax way. This is Manchester United. He's learning in the Premier League. I think part of my criticism of Ten Hag is I think he underestimated the Premier League. I think he was looking at the Premier League like how much tougher can it be? And I think he's awakening, and that is a criticism of mine directed at him. That doesn't mean that injuries have not impacted us.
Rich, I see you shaking your head. You disagree with that statement?
Listen, United, they got the manager they want. That manager has been able to spend money on players he wants, and he's not delivering. That's the bottom line. This weekend,
did he deliver last season?
Pardon me?
Did he deliver last season?
What did you do last season? What was your achievement?
Did we not finish in the top 4 and win the trophy?
If that's the benchmark of Man United in this day and age, then well done. But I don't believe that's Man United's standard, top 4 and then win a trophy.
No. Let's look at context, innit? Right?
Exactly.
Let's look at context, because of course Manchester United want to be winning the league and all of that kind of stuff. It's not realistic, right?
You've been spending big money. Why is it not realistic?
It's not realistic because the ownership is terrible. We've been spending big money because the ownership is terrible. So
we are supporting him, Young. They've been giving him his players.
We are giving him
spending big money. It sounds kind of nice. What's that like?
Money. But listen, we are spending big money not because of Ten Hag, because we are terrible in the transfer market. If you go up to Ajax and say, I want Anthony, and Anthony costs 50 million pounds, and Ajax say, give us 50 million pounds before this date, you do not go in before that date and give them 50 million pounds. You go in after that date and they say the price is now 80 million pounds, and you pay that 80 million pounds. That is not Ten Hag's fault. That is the club. That is the ownership. That is Murta and Arnold and them man being terrible.
Jacob.
Go ahead, Stefan. Sorry.
Yeah, could I just? But I would. You can make the argument that they went even further than they should have for Ten Hag and back him, because what happened was that Ten Hag said, I really want Anthony. He was the guy that said, if you read all the Man United, beat reporters that are linked to them, that are super kind of connected to the club, they all said that his number one, he said he wanted Anthony because he knows the Ajax system and everything like this. They went to Ajax. although it was late. First, they wanted to sign Timber. I remember they tried to sign Timber. Timber agreed to stay for another year. So then he switched to Anthony, but it was late, and they had already sold a number of players, Ajax. They had already sold Martinez and other players. So Ajax said, no, we're not selling him. We need to keep the
Buy the
team.
Ajax players.
Man United, Man United came back and said, no, we're going to back our coach. We're going to overpay probably almost triple his value just to back him and get his guy. And they still got it. It was the same with Mason Mount.
That is one view. That is one view. But I tell you what happens. He hands in a request list.
Yeah.
The request list is priced up. That request list includes Anthony at £50 million, Gakpo at 30. Because we end up paying 80 because we go in late because United dilly dally in the same way we missed out on Timo Werner because we dilly dallied. We missed out on Anthony.
But that's good that you missed out on Timo Werner.
And therefore can't go in for somebody because we didn't go in for Gakpo at 30. Liverpool get him. This is Manchester United. Manchester United are awful at transfers. Absolutely shocking at transfers. We go in late and we pay high prices.
I agree, but I agree. Yeah, I agree. But you can make the argument that no coach since Ferguson has been back to the tilt as much as he has. Mourinho, I remember, wanted a number of players. He wanted a center back. I think he wanted Maguire the year I think he got sacked, the summer. They didn't give him that center back. They didn't give him a number of players that Mourinho wanted. They didn't back him to the full. David Moyes, from what I remember, he wanted Toni Kroos. Instead, he got Fellaini. So all of these, whilst Ten Hag got literally every single, pretty much, his number one target was Martinez. They blew Arsenal out of the water, paid 20 million more than Arsenal were willing to pay to get him his guy. Mason Mount was his guy because he really liked him because he played on loan at Vitesse, I think.
Bro, those are
they paid I think almost 60 million for a guy that was on the last year of his deal, and everybody knew he wasn't gonna sign a long-term deal. So they went all out for him. So they went all out for everything. And then not only that,
listen,
they signed Amrabat. Every single player.
I'm not here saying that Ten Hag, like I said, when you asked me Ten Hag in or Ten Hag out, I said I'm on the fence with it. Right? I'm on the fence with it because he's dealt with a lot of stuff that I don't think that I think he's dealt well with. I don't think he's made. I'm critical of the goalkeeper. I'm critical of Anthony. I'm critical of quite a few of his transfers, to be honest. I think he underestimated the types of players that he would need. So, and I'm critical of some of his decisions as well, starting lineups, like persisting with certain players that are awful. And I think the reason Sancho got a little bit disgruntled is because he's watching Anthony play week in, week out, doing nothing. So yes, there is definitely a critique of Ten Hag that is valid. Do the injuries play a big role as well? I think so, because I think he delivered last year based on the context, right? So I'm on the fence with it.
But then what did he do this summer to strengthen the side? He signed Mason Mount.
No, for me, the biggest discretion was letting go De Gea, spending 50 million on a new goalie when you had De Gea, who, let's be honest, I don't see a big upgrade. I really don't. I actually think
they needed a new goalkeeper. They just got it wrong again. But again,
but that was on Ten Hag.
That's Ten Hag's fault. Yeah.
No, they got it right. Ten Hag wanted a goalkeeper that can do passing. He was looking for the.
But then he doesn't even use them to play out of the back.
That's the idea. The passing.
Let me ask you a question, right? How many managers have got goalkeepers? And I'm not a fan of Onana. I was never a fan of Onana when we got him. But how many managers have got goalkeepers right the first time?
That's very true. Goalies.
This is what I'm saying. The expectation somehow that he's going to get all of these decisions right first time is crazy. It's nonsense.
Alisson.
Bro, we got Vicario for
yes, but before
million.
Alisson,
I never heard of the guy.
He signed Karius. Let's not forget that. He was the one that signed Karius.
That was a stopgap.
Okay, but he still signed him.
He still signed him.
Yeah. Okay, but he signed a goalie that was worse than Mignolet. Let's be honest. That's very hard.
Hang on, didn't
Look,
Arteta Didn't Arteta sign the Iceland #2 goalkeeper?
I agree. Arteta hasn't been great, but if you look at all the great managers, Wenger, since Jens Lehmann left, Wenger went through so many goalkeepers. Ferguson, Yom can tell you, after Schmeichel left, they went through Roy Carroll, Tim Howard, Fabian Barthez. They went through so many keepers until they signed Edwin van der Sar. They went through a 5 or 6 year period.
Ranieri got it
Bro,
right.
pull up Phil P's comment, because that's a point that I also want to bring up as well. Ten Hag has spent more than Arteta, and he's been there in half the time. Less
Has
than
he?
half, I think it is.
He has spent more than Arteta, yeah.
But also, like, you guys went to Ten Hag because he offered you something, and then he comes here. It's like there's a guy I like to recite. Staffy TV makes a great analogy here. He said, you know, it's like we went to this really great restaurant and we
He really
hired
hates
this chef
Ten Hag.
because we had some of this dish and we were like, wow, this is the best dish. We're having a big party and we want you to cook this best dish. Oh my God, it's so good. And then he gets there and he cooks something completely different because he's like, well, that's what I think you want. Why don't you just do what we thought we were getting when we got? Again, if Levy said this guy's a weirdo,
That's a terrible
Bro.
analogy, Jacob. If you're a chef and
That's
you're
a great
hired
analogy.
in, if I hire a chef now to my kitchen to come and make the food I tried at his restaurant and I don't have the ingredients, can't make it, right? And then the chef comes and he says, "Well, I need this, 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 and this," and you go and get
and you
him.
give
it.
him all that.
And then,
Yeah.
but you give him all of that, and then the first year he cooks me something that I do like. The second year he brings these ingredients in, but half of them are rotten halfway through because they get injuries. What more do you want from him?
So who are you blaming? I blame the chef that brought in those rotten vegetables and fruits. That's who I'm blaming.
Yeah, this is what I'm
It's
saying.
not the injuries. It's not the fruit's fault that they're rotten. It's the chef's fault. Why didn't you get better product?
There's something going on at the injuries at United. It's not.
Bro, everybody has injuries. I just feel like that's such an easy cop out.
It's not. It's not. Nobody's.
Do you think they're going to win on the weekend? Or are you
Bro, everyone got injuries.
We want to know, who do you think's going to win?
Win on the weekend? Or are you crying about?
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
I can see this weekend being I reckon it's going to be a 2-2.
Oh, okay.
All right. And Stefan,
I reckon it'll be a high goal score.
It's Spurs, I think, in the Premier League have one of the worst records at Old Trafford, like us at Arsenal. No matter how crap Man United are, they always, especially at Old Trafford against the big teams, they always play well even now. So I think Man United, I think their system is, you concede 20 shots against Bournemouth at home. You concede 9. They were so lucky against Everton also. Everton, by an inch, they had a goal disallowed. The goal was like on goal line technology. It was like an inch away from being a goal. Like the amount of saves they give away so many chances, and the way they play, the way they're open, especially on the wings from Udogi's side and Porro, I think Rashford is just. I honestly think Man United are going to win. I think it's going to be. Son isn't playing. You're going to struggle to score. I'm gonna go for a 2-0. No, Man United never keep a clean sheet now. I'm gonna go 2-1 Man United.
Okay, cool. And John, what do you reckon? United versus Spurs. United at home.
I mean, Gary Neville said it after the Villa game. Like, you don't know what Man United's going to turn up. They might go and lose sort of like some non-league team one week and then come back from 2-0 down against Villa the week after. You don't know. I mean, if you're going on the form this season, you've got to say it's an away win. Just on form this season, because Tottenham are the team that are more informed than Man United at this minute. So on that, I'd go with that. But you just can't tell, because United could turn up and blow you 4 or 5-0 off the park. You just don't know. But yeah, on form, I'd go Tottenham. Tottenham win that game.
Cool.
It's at Old Trafford, guys. Old Trafford always. It's never Man City over the years. Over the last 3-4 years,
it used to be the theater of dreams, bro. It's the theater of leaks now. Come on.
I agree about this, but they're different. They're different animals.
Spurs.
Good job still.
Yes, Spurs are still sitting on 0. Yet we still have a trophy more recently than you.
Yeah, our roof does the job. Our roof does the job that we employed it to do, which is be a roof.
I really like
keep the rain out.
You have never.
We also serve fully cooked chicken. Hold that.
Anything. You know that, innit? The last time you won something was before Twitter was even a thing.
The last time you were able to serve food at your stadium is not going to be anymore. Naughty.
Jacob, are you
because
seriously making an argument?
because you was in a title race for 2 weeks.
Oh
And now
my God, you're bringing up the past.
you're
I'm here
sitting
talking
there
about your
talking like
chicken right
it's the first
now.
time.
Tell me, what can I eat when I go to Old Trafford, please? Can the
Don't
food
eat there,
inspector
bro.
please
Don't
tell me
eat there.
what's healthy, what's edible at that stadium? I want to
Don't
know.
eat.
Yo, it's gonna be so funny if you finish above Spurs at the end of the
You
year.
know what the
Bring it
fantastic?
back, bro. Don't worry. We'll bring it back. End of the season reviews. Come in. We're gonna have it.
do that stadiums. Is that what we're talking? Is that what we're doing
Listen,
here?
I want to hear Rich's opinion.
Is
Rich,
that what we're doing here? We're talking about who's got the better stadium now, Jacob.
Rich,
Yeah,
what's your take on this, man? What do you
I was
reckon?
just bringing up a point because we're going to Old Trafford and everyone's making it out like you better be careful when you get there because the ambiance, bro. I ain't worried about that ambiance. I'll tell
Bro,
you that.
I'll
Yeah.
rather a falling over stadium with trophies in it.
No,
Cool.
Yum. Don't you
I
know
don't
they
care.
have? They
I
won.
really don't.
Your state of the art empty. Your state of the art empty stadium.
Yum. Don't you know they won a medal for the world's best grass surface in the world? Like, come on, it's
This is what I'm
way
saying.
Premier League titles. Who wants that? Let's
There
win
you
the
are,
world's
Stefan.
best grass.
There you are,
Harry
Stefan.
lifted up
Cling on to
that-
any
that
hope you can. I see
trophy
you.
for having the best
Hold
burger.
on, buddy. Hold on. It's getting
Jacob,
murky
you have-
waters.
What are we doing here?
Cling on to
You can
what
pull up
hope?
Wikipedia now. These history nostalgia merchants, I love it. What did I go to a library, discuss with a librarian? What do the history records show me? No, I'm here to talk
remember
about
last
what's
year,
going on right
Jacob,
now in the
you
immediate
have to go
future
to black
and
and
in
white.
the
last
most
year.
recent
Spurs didn't win a league
history.
title, man.
Instead, we're
for a
talking
league.
about, oh, but don't worry
Spurs
because
would
United
kill
back in
for
the
a
day when
league
I was a
cup.
kid was really busting, man. I ain't worried
Spurs
about
would
that. What you
kill for
doing?
a
What you
league
do for me lately? How's that chicken?
Would you like a league cup, Jacob? Would you be happy with a league cup?
Of
Do you
course
want
he
to win
would.
the
They
league?
haven't won a trophy in 50
What are you
years.
talking about history? We're talking last year. Is that nostalgic? Like, what are we doing here?
The whole point you were bringing up about Tottenham and trophies and your trophies as well. Not look, you can bring up last year. I thought Ten Hag, great job. I expected y'all to do better, but again, you're not. So that shows the fraudulencies in your manager, doesn't it?
No,
Not. But
you're
you're sitting
changing the
here
goalposts.
using
You're
injuries,
to
saying,
go for
"Oh,
6.
because so and so got hurt, we're
changing
unable
the
to play the
goalposts.
Ten Hag way." Bro
You're
doesn't
changing
even
the
want to play the
goalposts.
Ten Hag way. He said it.
You said
When you ask him why is he doing this, he goes tactics.
You said United's trophies are nostalgic. They're not.
Again, this is a pointless conversation.
More
This is
recently
pointless.
than you.
This is
you're
so
talking
pointless because again, you're just like,
about-
oh, look at
Of
this
course,
though,
no,
but
of
don't
course.
worry because injuries are the reason why we're in this situation now. But you weren't saying that
Spurs are
before.
doing
It's
this.
interesting.
Talking about
It's like
nostalgia.
we'll look
No,
at
no,
it
I
this
just-
way, but we won't look at it this way. It's very interesting. It's both the palm
No,
of our
no, Jacob.
hands.
I just want to ask this because I get mixed messages from Spurs fans about their expectations for the season because depending on the week, they change. So they have a shit few weeks. It's good vibes FC. We just want to see a style of play and an identity. Then they have a good run of results. We're gonna get Champions League football. So what are the expectations? Like Ash is being real. Ash has said,
it depends on the fan. Like you get me. Like you know where I stand on it.
yeah, you've been the same. Haven't changed.
But yeah, for a lot of fans, you know, it is what it is. There to dream. Like you get carried away. Obviously, we're top. You look at our starting 11, and like where we started. Obviously, a lot of fans had a lot of hope, but it is what it is, man.
You know,
Is.
I do want to make a real quick point as well that it's funny to me because if I would have tried to have this conversation with a United fan 10, 15 years ago, they would have laughed at me trying to have this conversation. Oh, I've got one League Cup. What you got? Like, all right, the standards should be higher for United, right? Because when Onana drops his car keys, that's national. That's UK headlines. Onana dropped his keys. Can he hang on to a ball?
Because they're a massive
Bro,
club, Jacob. They're a
Stefan,
massive club.
if you will allow me, this entire time I'm just talking and talking, and then you come in with this. Oh well, let me tell you, bro. Just hang on. I'll get to you in a second. I'm talking about United. All right, just hang on. Talking about people. All right. Again, the excuse of injuries, I think anyone can use that, and that's just a very easy, simple way to say this is why this isn't working. That is the most easy, like black and white comparison. To me, I think it would be better to look at the manager and say, what is his style of play? Since he's gotten here, what has he shown me? What is he doing today that has either improved that style of play or how has he adapted to the big pressure of the Premier League, as you said? But you're also saying his talent ID maybe is not good enough for the Premier League. I'm trying to understand where you're at as a fan with Ten Hag because what you're saying on this side doesn't make sense for this side. And Like I
Because
hear fans when they say Ten Hag is
because more than one thing can be true at a time, right? So you can have injuries. Let's use your term as a reason, right? Injuries can be a reason or a contributing factor, let's say, to a team not performing. I personally believe when you have stability in a team, look, I'm no Liverpool fanboy, but the reason they have a good defensive record this year is because they've had consistency. Van Dijk and Konate are doing the business. They're playing and doing the business. When you are swapping and changing your defensive lineup, it impacts the team, let alone your midfield, let alone your attack, right? Does that mean that Onana is not a terrible signing? No, it doesn't. Onana is a terrible signing. Does that mean that Ten Hag hasn't got it wrong at times? No, it doesn't. Ten Hag has got it wrong at times, like I said. Does that mean that that Scott McTominay is good enough to play Manchester United? Does that mean that Mason Mount is a Manchester United number 7? No, it doesn't. More than one thing can be right at a time, right?
But he got the number 7, and he did get Onana, and he did get Anthony. These are his signings. I don't understand. I'm really confused.
Get what you don't get. What I'm saying is, because if you're
using excuses for why this guy doesn't have an identity or a style of play or consistency or accountability or anything about him other than I'm trying to play United's way.
Jacob, you said, right, or somebody said earlier, the United fan, it might even have been Stefan, the United fan base are split on Ten Hag. It's literally 50-50, right?
I wouldn't say it's 50-50 now. I would say it's more Ten Hag out from what I've heard from my friends.
The reason why people are split is because he, in my view, delivered last year. Last year, he done well. He dealt with a lot of things, but he did do well to get us back into the top 4. He finished 3rd, right? And he won something, right? Nobody had United in their top 4 at the beginning of last season. I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it if you said that you did, right? So because he delivered last year and won something, we know that with a consistent team, he can play good football. He can get results. He dug out results last year. This year, we've had a lot going wrong. We've had a lot of injuries, and that is why people are not so as forthcoming to be Ten Hag out as they would have been without 17 injuries at the beginning of the season. Without how many goodness of different defensive.
But I kind of agree. I kind of agree with Jacob on one point. Do you not agree that after 18 months, there's no style of play, man? It's basically it's basically Solskjaer ball with better players, because Solskjaer had McTominay playing as a 6.
So
all you do is play counter.
He left the classroom and he said, "Kids, y'all figure it out. The test is next week."
Do you know what's telling is, you said earlier, Ange isn't playing such a high line right now.
He is.
Right?
It's not as high as it was in Chelsea, and that's what a lot of people are equating this Ainge high line as the one that we play versus Chelsea.
So why do you think he's not doing that?
Right.
Do you think he's not doing that because he's adapting to losing the?
Are we still playing our style though? Let me ask you. Are we still playing possession based, inverting our fullbacks?
You might be playing possession based and inverting your fullbacks. As a manager, you adapt to the players that are available to you. You can't unless you are Manchester City, right? And even Manchester City have adapted in some occasions, right? You adapt to the players that are available to you. When your entire back 4 is not available to you, or when your entire starting midfield 3 is not available to you, you have to adapt. So he's adapting. Somebody in the comments said, United.
Yeah, we adapted. What happened versus Wolves? We lost that game. We changed our whole style and we lost. So what did? We go back. We start doing more of what we were doing well. Regardless of who you have out there, you have to have a system in place where when this guy's not there, guess what? This guy can do it. That's the idea, right? That's like the whole point of like building a squad. So when things go wrong, which inevitably will, again, injuries is like saying, oh, the sun's going to come out, so can't go outside today. Bro, the sun's going to come out eventually. The rain's going to be pouring eventually. These are eventualities. These are
constant. To say that when you have 2 or 3 injuries. When you're talking,
we don't have 2 or 3 injuries. What are these long-term injuries?
When you're talking 12 injuries, like I said, we had right, Dallo injured, right? We had
Martinez.
Martinez.
Didn't he
about
start
the ones
Bissaka over
now,
Dallo
now.
before last year?
We're talking about across the season, right? You can't just talk about
Okay,
now.
so is Ryan Sessegnon affecting our performance? Are we fifth because of Ryan Sessegnon?
You're
We've
talking
had
about across the
bare injuries
season.
Are
as well,
Spurs
though.
fifth because of Ryan Sessegnon?
Ryan Sessegnon doesn't start for Man United. Come on,
That's my
Jacob.
point. That is, bro. My point is saying
Don't be
to say this
disingenuous.
injury has somehow affected us. That's like you talking about Timber. I'm not having it.
Okay,
You
cool.
want to
What do you
use
mean
Timber as an
Timber
excuse?
started
I ain't having it
No,
either.
you know what? Cool. Injuries have no bearing on your team whatsoever. Even if
Bro,
you have
I didn't
12
say that.
even if
Again,
you
you're
have
getting
12
away
of
from
them.
what I'm saying from my point.
Bananas.
You're getting away from what my point is. My point is saying you are using a weak excuse of injuries. That is a very simplistic way of saying Ten
Okay, so
Hag
let
is
me.
failing.
I've been trying to land this point. I've been trying to land this point for a little while, right? So let me land this point, please. If you have
All
your
ears.
first choice left back, your second choice left back, your first choice centre back, your second first choice centre back, and your right back injured, do you think you have to change? We are playing Johnny Evans. If you think for one moment
And Maguire.
Ten Hag wakes up and wants to play Johnny Evans,
You signed Johnny Evans, so you can't. It's not like he just landed at United by accident. You signed him.
Yeah,
Why
but
do you-
they
Another Ten Hag
signed him as
signing.
like an auxiliary player. He's like a emergency style center back. Come
But
on,
he was
guys.
signed.
We're playing a centre back from our youth team, Kwanzaa. We've had to play him in because Matip is out for the season. That's football. You just carry on. It's not about we signed Johnny Evans by
Bradley as well.
mistake.
Bradley
Oh my God.
at the back.
Sorry.
Yeah, Bradley just came on now. Stop with this. Bradley's just started playing now. He never played at right back before. Stop.
Joe
Guys,
Gomez
we
is
also
out left
watch
back.
games.
Would you want me to cry
Yo, he
about Joe
pocketed
Gomez
he
at left
pocketed
back?
Martinelli though, Stefan. You have to hold that.
Come on, man.
He pocketed
Martinelli,
Martinelli.
which is
Yeah,
great,
the
it's
fake
great
Brazilian,
now. It's great now. When
that Bolivian
Liverpool,
guy.
when
Yeah.
Gabriel
Liverpool
Martinelli.
had all of those injuries and you guys were getting waxed up, I
But we've
doubt
got
that.
plenty now. We've got plenty now.
I doubt this would have been your response.
What-
We've got plenty now.
But you've got
Look,
your starting 11.
I think people are also missing the point about injuries. It also depends who is injured and how replaceable they are. What he is talking about, for example, when Rodri got suspended 2 months ago, from the 3 games he got suspended, Man City lost 2 of them. When Arsenal had Saliba out for the season in March, he was our key defender, our most irreplaceable player because the next player up was Rob Holding. The level drop is massive. When Liverpool, what Yom said about Liverpool, when Van Dijk got the knee injury against Everton, they didn't have nowhere near, and just some players are indispensable. You cannot have a suitable replacement because they're just so good. Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri, Thomas Partey, I would argue for me, especially going forward, Thomas Partey for Arsenal is key. He is such an amazing player when building up the play and going through it. He is much better than Declan Rice. I love Declan Rice, but I think Thomas Partey is not talked about. He's an incredible player. So there are
And
certain
anytime
players.
Arsenal used Thomas Partey as why they've dropped off, that is an excuse. Again, I keep
No,
the
but
same
I'm not-
energy. It's
I'm
not
not
like
saying-
I have
I'm
anything
not
against
saying that
anyone.
we
I keep the
dropped-
same energy that I hold for my club. I hold y'all to the same, if not a higher standard, because you're supposed to
But
be
you
league
just
competitors at Arsenal.
wait, Jacob.
I was told you're competing for the league. Liverpool fans said that's who I'm picking to win the league. City fans are saying, oh, if it's not us, it's going to be Arsenal. But you're fourth, a point ahead of Ange Postecoglou, who's also had all these injuries we want to use as excuses. So what are we talking about? Injuries are excuses.
Okay.
A very
Again,
simple way of blaming
Ange had
a
2
result.
injuries and dropped from first.
Wait. Just wait. Let me just
More than 2.
let me land as Young likes. Okay, so you say you're only, first of all, Arsenal, as you say, injuries don't matter. I asked you, why did you
I
give up?
didn't say don't
Wait,
matter.
wait,
Don't
don't
misquote me.
interrupt
Don't
me.
say I said and then say
No,
some
no,
shit
no,
I
no.
didn't
Don't-
say.
don't-
That's
wait.
just that's
Okay.
fabrication, Stefan.
Okay, fabric. Okay, I asked you earlier in the
Stefan
show.
said the
Okay.
sky's orange. You like
Okay.
that?
I
Do you
asked
like
you
that?
earlier.
No,
I
you
asked
don't.
you earlier. Wait, I asked you earlier in the show. Why did you give up 20 shots against Bournemouth? 25, and you could have given up 7 goals against Brighton, probably.
And I never got to answer that question.
Wait. No, you did. You answered it by saying because we had fullbacks that played center backs. Is that not an excuse? Because you had injuries?
I preceded that by saying this style lends itself to creating and conceding chances. And when you have a
You didn't say that. You said because you had fullbacks
I
and
did.
center backs.
I did. You must have been talking over me like you've been doing this whole show because I did say that. And then I went on
You
to say
interrupted just as
Emerson
much as
Royale
I
at right
did.
center back, Ben Davies at left center back. What are we talking about?
Yeah, you said
You're
it's a
giving
drop
the
off of talent.
excuse. You're giving you, but you're saying so. When Yom says Martinez
I
has been
literally
out,
said this is the reason those teams had all those chances is because this is the style we play. It lends itself to conceding these chances. If you watch even the games we were winning, when we went 10 games undefeated, we were conceding chances left and right to United, Brentford, Luton, Palace. We were
That's
conceding chances all over the place. That's been a constant of this style that we play. So when you say how come this and that, I said it's because it's the style. And then the reason why we didn't look as good at the back is because of this and this. But it's the style. I didn't say, oh, it's because Van de Ven was there. Romero was there. We were conceding chances.
okay,
That's
okay. Okay. Because you said specifically because we had fullbacks and center backs, so that's why your defense wasn't as solid. I mean, it was never. I agree with you. Your defense is never, even with Romero and Van de Ven, you still give up a lot of chances. But I just think to downplay the fact, especially with Man United, their whole back line was injured.
it's not
With
downplaying. It's just not accepting that as a reason for a manager failing. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you think an entire back line and their replacements being
Literally
injured
everybody was injured.
is not part of a reason why you're not winning or losing games or conceding goals, then I don't know what sport we're talking about here. Literally,
We're literally talking about the sport we're all talking about. There's no need for that.
Van de Ven and Romero got injured in, was it the same game?
Yeah, no, it wasn't the same. Was it the same game?
Romero got sent off the same
Romero-
game. He got a red card when Van de Ven tore his hamstring.
Yeah.
It was within a couple of games of each other that they
No, he got sent off the game where Van de Ven injured his hamstring.
right.
For the same game.
They were both unavailable, right?
Yeah.
And
Correct.
then you guys went on a losing spree for a little while.
They lost. What was it? You lost.
They weren't the only players unavailable, but yes, we did go on a little bit of a rough patch. But again, the rough patch, it was always rough. We were just getting the results. But because we lost, now it's, oh, this is a rougher patch than before. Bro, this has been a rough patch. We've started as a rough patch.
What you're saying
This
is
is
even when he was
Postecoglou coming
winning,
into a
he was winning
broken club, a systematically broken club, and he did wonders in the first 10 games. But all that did was paper over what every Spurs fan knew, which was there's systematic problems from the top down. And until we change that, nothing will change. But we've slowly been changing that. That's why you're probably hearing Spurs fans with a little bit more chest lately, because things are slowly changing. That's my point. And again, injuries. I would hate it if my manager went on a press conference and said, well, the reason why we lost today is because of these injuries. Bro, adapt, play better. Find a person who can play that position and make it work. Bro, I'm sure in a job that you've had, if you go to your boss and you say, I'm not able to perform because this is missing and this is missing, they would say, okay, but can you still get the job done without those things? Because it's then your job to do that.
Sorry, Jacob, your analogies are terrible. Because if you're working in a business.
Well, cool. You're one of 100. You're one of 3,500 people who think that. But
listen,
carry on.
If you're working in a business, right, and whatever that business is doing, and 17 people call in sick on that day, best believe productivity is going to fall. That's just fact.
Okay. Let me go back to this analogy real quick, since you think it's so terrible. This guy who's gone to you and everyone saying, "Oh, I'm failing because of injuries." Bro, how many people have we bought you since you've been here? We bought you all these things you said you needed, and you still can't get the job done. To me, that is a sign of a guy inadequate at his job, in my opinion.
Because they're all injured, though, Jacob.
Bro, oh my God, this is such weak excuses, man. I'm sorry. If y'all have a significant other, I would love to see that shit. I would love to see a woman put up with these amount of excuses. Because I go to my wife and I say, oh, this is why I didn't do the dishes. This is why I didn't clean the house. She says, those are fucking excuses. You need to work through those things. And to me, like in life, you got to work through the things that don't feel so good, don't you?
But even like before injuries, even last season, your good season, why was your football looking like that?
That's true. That's true. That's
looking like what?
Why does your football look like that? It doesn't.
It's just pure counter-attacking football.
Big man, we wanted gap goal, and we got Weghorst. What do you want? We've not paid a single penny for a player in January. For goodness knows how long.
But But isn't that on the coach for spending over 200 million on players in the
because
summer?
the coach doesn't hold the purse strings. This is what I'm saying about Murta and Arnold. If you wanted Gakpo and you had the money for Gakpo and Anthony, and you go and get Anthony at 80 million instead of 50 million, which means you don't get Gakpo and which means you get Weghorst, do not come to me and tell me that's the manager's problem, because the manager's now got to try and get the best out of Weghorst.
But I'm asking you about your
You know what I'm
style of
saying?
play. You're talking about you didn't sign one player, so your style of play couldn't evolve.
You don't think one player, like a player can have an impact on your whole style of play?
So
Of
wait,
course, if you're playing Weghorst, that is going to change your style of play.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it does.
How Weghorst played for Man United, I have no idea.
If you look at when we played against Villa, right,
That's
and we had Højlund on spearheading, and then we had Rashford on the left, right. When we come up against Bournemouth and Højlund's not there, and we have to play Rashford through the middle, it completely changed our style of play because Rashford can't do what Højlund does. Of course, one player, especially your striker, that can change your entire way of playing.
Yeah, but since that manager has been there, you're consistently playing poor football.
I wouldn't say we're consistently playing poor
No,
football.
Richie, that's harsh because last season they didn't play swashbuckling, possession like Man City, but they played like at their best under Ole, I would say. Great counter-attacking football, deadly counter. Like
We still beat them 7-0. That was
We
their good
have it
season.
both ways. We can't say this is the Premier League. I say this is the Premier League. This is probably the best league in the world. I don't think you finish in the top 6 in the Premier League playing terrible football, let alone third. You do not finish third in the Premier League playing terrible football. I'm just
We played Conte ball, got fourth, by the way.
Pardon?
I said we didn't play the greatest style of football, and we got fourth.
Listen,
it
depends on what your concept of good football is. Are we playing?
Conte ball was
Are we playing Klopp?
Yeah, that's fair. You're right.
Crazy
That's fair.
football, no. But
It
you
does
can
depend
play
on your
good
opinion,
football
that's
that's in counter-attacking. Whatever your style is, as long as it's effective, it's picking up consistent results, and you got some consistency, then whatever you want to do, that's up to you.
Are you happy with the style?
As a United fan, obviously not. I'm not happy with the style, no. I would like to see a better style of football from Ten Hag, hence why I'm on the fence. Listen, this whole conversation sounds like I'm Ten Hag in, but if somebody's
going to say that as well. But I just want to pivot away from it, guys. I know we could go on this conversation for hours. We can.
Yeah, was to leave tomorrow.
But listen, there's other topics I want to bring up, and I just want to get neutrals' opinions on it before we go to Arsenal and Liverpool. So, what went wrong in people's opinion for Arsenal when they lost against Liverpool in the FA Cup? And I'll start with John. I haven't heard from you for a minute. So, what was your opinion of the game? How did you think it went? And yeah, why did Arsenal not get the W? And why did Liverpool get the W instead?
The reason why I know for me is because I was born with manners. I was born not to talk over people, so I'll just wait for people to have their say and I'll finish up afterwards. So that's why. But, regarding that game, I mean, it was an FA Cup game. Was there that much on it? Probably not. Did it mean more to Arsenal than it did to Liverpool? Probably not. So, I mean, this is the thing with games like this, FA Cup games, that you can all go like, oh yeah, like blah, blah, blah. Like, Liverpool beat Arsenal, but it's an FA Cup game. I mean, to be fair, both teams filled pretty strong squads for that game, sides for that game. I was surprised at the quality was on the pitch, to be fair. Like Liverpool, I didn't think Liverpool play Alisson. I thought they played Kelleher like they did tonight, but they played Alisson, which was a real surprise for me. But I think Liverpool are the team in form at the minute. I think if that FA Cup game was played in October, I think Arsenal would have won it. It's just a matter of circumstance. Liverpool are in form at the minute. They're top of the league. They're flying. Whether they still fly without Salah, I don't know. I've watched them tonight. Gakpo looks good. Nunes, not so, but I can't say nothing because we bought absolute shit for the last 18 months, so I'm not going to comment on that. But at the end of the day, if that game was played in October, I think it would have been a tighter game. But it's just circumstance. Liverpool are in a vein of form. Arsenal have won, 1 in 7 now? Am I right? 1 in 7?
1 in 7.
Yeah. Not a dig. It's a fact. It's not a dig. It's a fact. Liverpool are in form team at the moment.
But everyone was freaking out at Ainge when we were 1-5. But here we are.
No, I mean, it's a point.
About Arsenal, Liverpool. So let's put Tottenham on the back burner. We spoke about that now for an hour and 27 minutes. Let's put it on the back burner now.
Well, what do you? I mean,
I'm sorry, my love and my fandom doesn't just sit on a back burner. I am a Tottenham fan. I am Tottenham through and through. So if you want me to just not be me, I can leave the stream. It's not a big deal. But I am going to talk about Spurs. I will relate it back to Spurs. That's going to happen. It's inevitable.
You don't need to be dramatic. Come on.
I didn't say to not be you. What I said was this feed has been live for an hour and 29 minutes, and all we've spoken about is Tottenham and Man United.
Yeah, just going back
what channel are we on? Remind me again. Is it called Southview Coils?
Channel then, because if it's just a Tottenham feed,
rival show. Just to be clear, it's a rival show. We do talk about other teams. So, but just to get back to your point, John. I thought, obviously, like you said, both teams filled out stronger teams than people expected, and FA Cup. It's not a small cup. It's quite a big competition. Do you think Arteta didn't want to, win a cup, take the cup serious and get a cup, or Klopp doesn't want to get a cup? What do you think? It was just a throwaway cup, or?
I think for them it is. I mean, you look at their circumstances. I mean, Liverpool are top, Arsenal are fourth, but they're only 3 points off it. I think they're both deep in 5. They're both deep in European competition. Well, I say deep. Like Liverpool will go deep. They should win that UEFA Cup. They should where it's called now Europa League. They should win that. They're the best side in it. They should win it. Depending who's dropped down from the Champions League, obviously. But Liverpool should win that. And Arsenal, I think, will go pretty far in the Champions League. I think they will. I think they'll come good, Arsenal. They'll find a way to start scoring goals. Jesus ain't a bad player. People are going about, Gabriel Jesus is a rubbish. He's not a bad player. You don't play for Man City for 5 years, you're a bad player. It's as simple as that. It's a fact. Don't argue that. It's a fact. So I think Arsenal will do. I don't think the FA Cup means a lot. To Chelsea, the FA Cup means something. The Carabao Cup means something, although it didn't really show last night. But it does mean something because these are viable trophy options.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think they've got bigger fish to fry at the minute. We were 10 years ago. We had bigger fish to fry 10 years ago. We didn't take the FA Cup seriously. We got knocked out by Bradford. So we didn't take it 10 years ago. So
Just on that, just before you come in, Stefan, I just want to ask Yo's his take on the Arsenal Liverpool game. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. I always love watching being a neutral. And it's a tough one. It's a tough one because, and sorry boys, I've got to bounce in a minute, but it's a tough one because I obviously know a lot more Arsenal fans, and they're not all. This is my first time talking to Stefan, but they're not all as reasonable headed as Stefan is. Because I didn't know who I wanted to win that game, but if I'm honest, I think the FA Cup should be taken seriously by any team because the league is just not. It's we just don't know in it. If City decide that they're going to go on a crazy post-Christmas run again, then nobody stands a chance. I think Liverpool are the biggest challenge for City at the moment. And I think Liverpool could just about do it. It depends on what City decide to do. But really, we all know if City goes on one of their mad runs, then it just is what it is. So therefore, you're then looking at I don't see an English team outside of City winning a European competition. Liverpool are in.
Europa League.
They're in the
Europa. Yeah, they're in the Europa League.
Liverpool should win that, but would you rather win the Europa? Would you take the Europa more seriously than the FA Cup? Would you rather win the Europa than the FA Cup? I think I don't know.
No, come on. The FA Cup is still historic. There's a lot of it's the oldest cup competition.
Particular history. I think the FA Cup should be kick off at 3 o'clock. You watch it all day on BBC One. That's an English channel. You watch it all day on BBC One. You watch the players in the hotel. You watch them walk to the ground. You watch them walk around the ground in their shit cream suits like Liverpool in '96. That's what FA Cup Saturday's about. That's the past deal. I'm a traditionalist. I'm just saying football's moved on. There's more money.
Yeah, but the only reason you want to win the Europa League is if you're not finishing in the top 4, right? Otherwise,
why?
I'll
You
take
really-
second. Let's face it. If City win the league, then second is likely to be Liverpool, right, or Arsenal. But I would say Liverpool. So if you're Liverpool, you're taking second, and I'm taking second and the FA Cup, opposed to second and the Europa League. Personally, I don't know what Richie's saying. Richie, I don't know how you feel about that as a Liverpool fan. But I suppose there's a question. Wow, what do you think about that?
Richie?
To be honest, yeah, I'm one of these Liverpool fans that my focus is always on the league. So we need to try to secure the league. Go on, Stefan.
But guys, isn't winning the Europa League the equivalent of getting a top 4 place and you get a trophy?
Yeah, that is another bonus to it. But the bread and butter is the league. And since Pep has been in the Premiership, you don't get a lot of opportunities. And when you get one, even if it's a small one like this year, you kind of have to try and seize it. They will go on a run from about February, and they're kind of unstoppable from about February to end of the season. So we just need to accumulate as many points as possible. Europa, I mean, it's a long competition. You don't even know what type of draws you're going to get. So the cup, I mean, we played another cup game today. We beat Fulham. It's like, I didn't bother looking into that. It's not one of the important things. I mean, Young was celebrating the Carabao Cup last year. We won it the year before. Didn't bat an eyelid, to be honest with you. Like I said, at the moment, while we're in this mood with our manager and the players we have, I feel like we just need to be pushing for leagues. Where possible, it's not easy with City. And then when we get back to the Champions League next year, the competition we're quite good in, we have to push for that again. But again, the weekend, I mean, Arsenal, they put out pretty strong sides. We gave them a lesson in how to be ruthless. That's what it was, They played their pretty football, but listen, none of that matters. Arsenal fans have been on to me, we battered you for this and that. Yeah, that's good and well, and that's nice, but football's about results. And when it comes to the crunch, if you're not ruthless in this business, this is what happens. This is what will happen to you. And you can do with Stefan, I see you getting. No, sir, that's what it was. We give you a lesson in how to be ruthless. That's it. And maybe this will help you for the rest of the season. Because
no. You know what, Richie? I hope you play the same way in February if you come to the Emirates again. Because trust me, if you play like this for the first 70 minutes, Arsenal are going to score, because that game should have been at halftime. It should have been 3-0 to Arsenal.
And what was it?
It was 0-0. I agree with you. We didn't finish, but you could see why. Liverpool they're going through their purple patch at the moment. Arsenal are going through their rut. If you look at every single team in a season, has a month to almost a month and a half where they go through a rut. If you look at Man City, their rut was like October, November. Ours is now. Liverpool still haven't gone through theirs. So I'm happy. I'm happy in a way, because I expect us to get better once we get a lot of our players back. I expect us to start to peak. And I would prefer us, not like last season, to peak in December, but to peak later on in the season. So for me, it's not the end of the world. I was gutted about the FA Cup because I thought we absolutely we battered you for 70 minutes. Like, we should have been 3-4-0 up. We hit the post. Kai Havertz missed. Reece Nelson missed a big chance. He missed 2 big chances. Kai Havertz missed that. Like, we should have been. Odegaard hit the post. Like, we should have been 3-0 up at halftime. But again, that just shows, in my opinion, what Arsenal need to do in the summer, and that is sign a bona fide number 9. And I think we will do that. But yeah,
Stefan, you said something about coming back in February. We'll be back, but mind you, we'll be back with Salah, Van Dijk, Robertson.
No, you won't be. You won't be.
We're back with the full unit. We won't be playing the same team. We're back with the full unit.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're back with them or not, right? Because unavailable players don't matter. It's an excuse if you lose it and you don't have.
Yeah, true. That's true.
No, yum. We were resting half of them boys.
Yeah, but this is what I'm
saying.
Who
are you resting, man? Rich, what are you? Are you? You played a full strength team, man. Who are you resting? Van Dijk was sick. He wasn't rested. He was sick. So don't use that excuse there.
Kwanzaa is our first choice centre back.
Yes, because Matip is injured.
Elliott is our first choice centre mid.
Yes, because every time he comes off the bench. Cool. Wait. First of all, Harvey Elliott was your midfielder because Szoboszlai was
first choice.
Yes, because Szoboszlai was injured. And the
But
last
we
few
still give you
games, Harvey
2-0.
Allen. What? Sorry.
It was still 2-0 though.
Yeah, it was 2-0, but it was a lucky 2-0. Don't tell me that you deserved to win 2-0, please.
100%.
Okay, Rich. You know what? I can't wait to kick your ass in February.
No,
I
I'm
You
know
know what our
play
record
like
is
this,
like at Emirates
we're gonna kick
for the
your
last
ass,
5 years?
man. Yeah, 5-0. Yeah.
So
Okay.
what's our record been like in the last 5 years at Emirates? You've got 1 win.
Yes, because we've been shit for the last like 6-7 years. Now we're not shit.
But this is what happens. But this is what happens in football. I think people have short memories, right? Richie said something about Yom celebrating what's it?
Carabao.
What was Carabao Cup?
You're
We won that
celebrating that.
2 years ago, and I didn't batter an eyelid. Listen, let's not forget that Liverpool went for a period of 30 years without winning a league, yeah. And in that
What's that
period
got to do with the now?
let me finish. Let me land. In that period of time when you was winning FA Cups and Carabao Cups,
Champions Leagues.
whatever it was called then, right?
Champions Leagues as well.
Champions Leagues, whatever it was, you was happy to take it, right? You won 2 Champions Leagues in that time. Fair enough. Hats off to you. When you was in the league performing poorly, you was also celebrating finishing in the top 4. When you wasn't winning stuff and you was winning and you won an FA and you grab an FA Cup here and there, you was happy about that. It was Liverpool, yeah. So it's all about context, isn't it? Of course, United have no prospect of winning the league, so of course I'm going to be happy with a cup. And the whole context point was when I was arguing with the dude that's gone, is he's talking like as if Spurs have been flying high for 10, 15 years, but they've still got an empty cabinet. So Ten Hag can't be that bad because we won something as recently as last year when he said nostalgic United, not nostalgic United last year. So that's just my point.
But expectations change, and I get Richie saying he's not bigging up the League Cup because they're used to challenging for the league, and you know the same as the Chelsea view said also, like they have different priorities based on the actual context. When Chelsea had Drogba and Lampard, they didn't really give a crap about the League Cup. Like, yeah, they were happy that they won it, but they had bigger fish to fry. The thing that I get annoyed about and that I think is unfair towards Arsenal is that last season, people put us outside of the top 4. Like nobody took us seriously. We challenged for the league. Arguably, we choked. We should have won it in the end. We didn't. But now suddenly everybody's saying Arteta needs to win the league or needs to win the Champions League for him to be taken seriously. Suddenly now the expectations have gone from let's just get top 4 in Champions League football to now he needs to win the league. He needs to do, he needs to do it. Even though in that time span of where Man City have been great, Liverpool have won the league once, have won 1 FA Cup, have won 1 League Cup, and 1 Champions League. Yes, it's still trophies, but Liverpool have won the league once, and they had an amazing team. It just shows how difficult it is to win it with Man City being there. So for me, it's.
I hear that, Stefan. But when you correct me if I'm wrong, Rich, as well. If you compare it to maybe like a Klopp came in his first year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he did in his first year. So Rich can tell me.
But they got to the Europa League final, right? Yeah. You lost to Sevilla and you finished 7th, 8th.
7th-ish.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
He only came in January, didn't he? What?
No, October, yeah.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
Right, okay. So that's season 1. Season 2 now, we're seeing a change already. Like Klopp's had 1 or 2 windows.
He signed Mane.
He's starting to build his squad. And now, obviously, Liverpool push on year 2, year 3, year 4. I think when you look at Arteta now, he's been there for 4 years.
Yeah.
And some people might argue, if you compare that to someone like a Wenger, when Wenger was there, lots of people were like, you know, if Wenger had the same amount of money spent on him, what would he do with this Arsenal current team? Would he have choked in that title challenge? And they were 8 points clear. I'm just throwing it out there as a rebuttal.
Ash, I agree with you. Every great club has choked at some point. Man United, I remember in 2012 choked they had like I think a 7-point lead or an 8-point lead on Man City. They lost on the last day of the season. The famous Steven Gerrard slip when Liverpool were 6 points ahead of Man City in 2014. They also choked. And then they were, I think it was 3-0 up against Palace and they drew 3-3 when they lost the league. So everybody has choked at certain periods. Where I agree with you, and which is the most difficult thing to do, is what Klopp did, and what Arteta I think will do. I really do have belief, is to take the club over the hill. So to take a kind of a club that hasn't won in a long time, to instill a culture. I've always told you for this, the one thing I respect Arteta the most about is, yes, he needs to win trophies to fully solidify his legacy. But what he has done in stabilizing the club and building the right culture at the club, signing the right players. Look at Chelsea, for example. Chelsea and Man United are an example of, just because you spend loads of money doesn't mean that you're, and if they're great players on paper. Caicedo, for example, just to give one, Caicedo was easily one of the best midfielders in the league when he played for Brighton. At Chelsea, I don't know what the Chelsea thinks. Every time I watch him, he looks like a poor man's Conor Gallagher. Like, Conor Gallagher is outplaying him over the last 3 to 4 months. And I really don't rate Conor Gallagher.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? How many Premier Leagues has Klopp won?
One.
Yeah.
One. Right? Do we honestly think that Klopp would have won more leagues
if Man City weren't there?
Pep wasn't in this Premier League.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
So that's why I think the argument against Arteta is slightly unfair.
Yeah.
Right? Because this guy called Pep is just coming and making us the Bundesliga. I get it. Look, you compete against who you compete against. But we are arguably watching the best club side in the history of football in England.
With unlimited oil money.
Are you not allowed to raise expectation, though? The thing is, Stefan.
Of course you are. Of course you are. And look,
very smart. What they want to do is they want to minimize the expectation. And if they so happen to win the league, they say, "Oh, well, we just won the league." No, the expectation is, when you are going year on year and you're spending money and you're developing the team and developing the squad and you're building the culture, the expectation at some point has to be, okay, can you be like in the running for winning the title maybe?
My thing is that I think Arteta needs to win something. I know he won an FA Cup in his first 6 months. Yeah. That was.
He didn't win that FA Cup. He won 2 games. Unai won that.
Yeah, and that's what I mean.
Stop with this horrendous argument. Stop with this horrendous argument.
In a way, I agree with that. Right?
How?
Cup final.
Wait.
7 games. He won 2 of them.
In a way, I agree with that.
That's not true. That's not true.
It wasn't his team.
No.
It wasn't his team.
First of all, the delusion, and this is what I mean by Arsenal fans, and I would say rival fans trying to pick on Arteta, that this was Emery's team. Arteta took Emery's team from 14th in the league. Do you really think Emery would have beaten Sheffield away, Man City away, and then Chelsea in the final? Emery, the 6 months before that, lost to Chelsea 4-1 in a final. So don't give me that.
Either way. The truth is, either way, it doesn't matter, because the history books will tell you that Arteta won the FA Cup, but he won it in his first 6 months, right? So I still think that he needs to win something. Earlier on, somebody said how Ten Hag has spent more than Arteta, which I was thinking at the time, that doesn't sound about right. He hasn't. Arteta spent.
He has. He has.
Arteta has spent £700 million.
Oh. No, that's over 6 years. You have spent $1 billion over those 6 years. Check.
Listen,
you have spent $1 billion.
Ten Hag has not been there for 6 years. Ten Hag has spent literally half of what Arteta has spent.
That is yes, because Arteta has spent $700 million, but Ten Hag in the span of time that that since he's taken over Man United, he has spent more money than Arteta.
So yes, in the same amount of time, but that's not what was put earlier. I'm just setting the record straight. What was put earlier was that Ten Hag has spent more than Arteta. He hasn't. He has spent 400 million, and Arteta has spent 700.
Yeah, but how is that fair though, Young? Because you're taking only a 2-year period to a 6-year period. That's not fair. That's like saying
I'm just addressing what was put across. If it was put across that in this period of time, Ten Hag has spent this, then yeah. Fair enough. That's what was put. But I'm just addressing what was put across. What was put across was that Ten Hag has spent more than Arteta. I'm just setting the record straight that he hasn't. Arteta has spent £700 million in 4 years and has won an FA Cup in his first 6 months and hasn't seen anything else since. So I do think there is a little bit of pressure on him, because I don't think anybody else I don't think anybody else gets that pass. If Klopp had spent £700 million in 4 years, there would be a lot more pressure on him to win something.
What is this, by the way? What is this? This is the other thing I get annoyed about Liverpool fans and Liverpool media. What is this misconception that Liverpool don't spend money? Klopp is the biggest hypocrite in football. He's such a little moaning, just moans.
I can see it seeping out of you.
No. It's just he moans. It was hilarious.
Green, envious eyes.
Yeah, envious eyes. Okay, yeah. The only thing I'm envious of are his teeth. But okay. So going on. So he goes in a press conference moaning about transfer fees and how expensive everything is and how inflated everything is. The next day, Liverpool put in a transfer bid of 110 million for Caicedo. He is the ultimate hypocrite. And this concept
did we buy the guy?
Okay, this concept that Liverpool haven't spent money.
Caicedo. Liverpool weren't interested in Caicedo.
Yes, they were. They wanted.
Yeah, they put it into the price up so Chelsea paid more money. You got to understand these things. Arsenal were never interested in Ricardo Mudryk. They was bumping up the price that Chelsea paid there.
Come on.
Understand these things.
Understand these things, Stefan.
I'm sorry, but you either put in a bid or you don't. No, you either put in a bid.
They put in a bid. No, they put in a bid,
and Brighton accept. Then you're paying that, right? So you've got to be willing,
because you have to agree personal terms. His personal terms are already done. Agreed with Chelsea.
Yes, because at Chelsea, instead of signing, any person would agree to the Chelsea over the Liverpool deal. Why? Because Chelsea offered him a 9-year deal and Liverpool only offered him 5 years. You have a 9-year guaranteed contract over 5 years. Of course, I'm gonna take. I mean, if I'm thinking about my career, I wouldn't take the actual Chelsea offer, but I would, based on the money and the guarantee towards taking care of my family. I get why Caicedo said no. I'm gonna choose Chelsea. The whole Mudryk deal. I think you're wrong, Chelsea view. I think Arsenal always wanted him, but Chelsea came in and just exploited the fact that Arsenal didn't want to pay almost 100 million euros if you take into account the bonuses for a player that I think only had like 25 appearances for Shakhtar. So I think it just happened that Liverpool, and forget the Caicedo deal. 80 million for Nunes, 50 for Jota, 50 for Naby. People also forget they shit on Arteta for Havertz and some of his signings. I personally don't think Havertz has been such a failure, but Klopp signed 50 million for Naby Keita, dog shit. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, wait, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, 40 million, barely played a game.
Million.
Sorry?
Just bumping up the numbers, man.
How am I bumping up the numbers? I'm an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, inflating these numbers, man. Anyway, carry on.
You paid 40 million for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. 38 or 39 you paid. He barely played. Right. You paid 50 million for Naby Keita a season early. He came the next year. Dog shit.
Hold on, one second. Remember what I said? Football is a squad game. So in the time these players are here, we build our squad. What do we compete for? Leagues, Champions Leagues.
Yes.
We achieved that. FA Cup, Carabao Cup, even though I shit on it, we won them also. Those players are part of that. So in that period, this is what we achieved with those squad players.
So you're saying paying 80 million?
Really sorry, guys. I've got to go. I'm about an hour late for where I've got to be, but love, man.
Big up yours, man. Every time. Big up.
So wait, Richie, you're saying paying 80 million for Darwin Núñez is a squad player? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Building the squad. Make sure the squad has got depth. This is the reason we're able to score goals away from home and not play very well.
I agree.
Build your squad properly. Yeah, build your squad properly. Then you would have had a striker on the weekend. Instead, you paid whatever you paid for Jesus, whatever you paid for Havertz. You create 100 chances with 0 goals. I don't want that output.
No, but if you look at the way again, this is different philosophies. Klopp, when he came to Liverpool, he's always been attacking philosophy. So he always prioritized the attacking positions. So Klopp has always prioritized attacking. Arteta always started from the defense. He signed Gabriel first. He signed Thomas Partey. He's always gone goalie.
Signed about 4 right backs.
Yeah, signed defenders. He always signed goalie, defenders, midfielders. And I think the cherry on the top is going to be the summer. The number 9 that we're going to sign.
Just sorry to interrupt you, Stefan. What do you take on this whole Onana links at the moment? Because obviously But you're screaming a number 9. You're like, we need a number 9 to finish because Saka chances, Martinelli chances,
Yeah.
Bert's chances, Odegaard in position to shoot, but not really pulling the trigger. Well, he had 1 or 2 chances, but you get the point. What I'm saying, you're saying we need someone clinical, but Arteta seems that he's got other ideas. He wants like a Nana. He wants a bit more physicality in that midfield.
No,
He wants to help Declan Rice. He wants to help Declan Rice in the midfield.
Yeah. So I mean,
well, I mean,
Does-
he doesn't need help because Declan Rice ran all over yours at Anfield. So I really don't think he doesn't need that much. But Declan Rice is great. The problem is that we're trying to sign another DM / maybe number 8 in Onana because
Why?
we're gonna try and sell Partey. Even though I love Partey as a player, Ash knows this. I think he's an amazing player. He's just always injured, guys. He's not reliable. He's nowhere near reliable. He's missed, I think I read since he came to Arsenal, he's missed about 35% of every possible Arsenal game. So I think we're going to replace Partey. Our midfield, if you look at the average age compared to the other sections of our squad, it's old. We have Jorginho, who, again, really rate, but I don't think he has the athleticism to play in the Premier League week in, week out. So that's why I think, honestly, I was surprised about Onana because I don't think he's good enough on the ball to play the style that Arsenal want. But I love him as a player. If I was Arsenal in the summer and I was to sign because he wants to dominate the midfield, Arteta, I would sign the guy from Fulham. I love him. If I'm worried if Liverpool are smart, but Klopp is probably going to sign another attacking player, knowing him. If Liverpool are smart, if they sign Paulinho, I'm worried. Like, I'm really worried.
Quick question. Canute or Saliba? I just want to know.
For me, Saliba, because I just think Konate is going through a really good run of form this year, and Richie is smiling. But let's be honest, last year he was horrendous. He was absolutely horrendous.
He wasn't horrendous.
Yes, he was. Come on, man. He got dropped numerous times.
Ask France, who was horrendous.
Yeah, okay, ask France. I'm okay. I'll ask France. Yeah, at France, he plays Varane and Upamecano. He doesn't play
Konate starts, bro.
So I don't know what your point is.
Konate starts, bro. You need to check
he starts now because he's in good form.
Starts on the bench.
Okay, but before Matip's injury, did Konate play instead of Matip? Who was the more regular starting defender?
They rotate because neither of them can play 2 games a week.
Okay.
You ask for facts. It's the same way you play Tomiyasu and White at right back, and then you bring another right back in Timber because you want to rotate. It's the same thing.
I agree. I agree. I agree with you on that. But if you were, I really rate Konate. I just think Saliba is just. I think Saliba, in my opinion, reminds me of Van Dijk, like in terms of
Just a quick one on that Amadou question, on the Onana thing. Who's he going to replace?
Partey, in my opinion. If we signed him,
you're saying Partey. What? So he's going to take Partey's place on the bench?
No. In terms of if we sign him, which I think that's bullshit, by the way, the reports. If we sign him now, I think we're going to sell Partey in the summer. Do you know what I mean?
But what I'm trying to make to you is that Partey's not playing for you, so is Onana taking his place on the bench?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that because Havertz has been playing as the number 8. So I really think Onana can easily play as the number 8 currently at the moment. In terms of if Partey is still injured.
You just said he's not good enough.
No, I'm surprised because I don't think he's good enough on the ball. I love him as a player in terms of his defensive attributes, his athleticism. He's massive. He's great in the air. I love that about him. But I just don't think he's good enough in terms of his passing range from what I've seen. If you watch the way Arteta wants to play football and stuff and the way Man City play, the most important thing is on the ball and being secure on it. I don't think Onana is as technical as Arteta. That's why when I read links, for example, I've watched him at Real Sociedad and at Aston Villa, Douglas Luiz and Zubimendi from Real Sociedad. When you watch these players, if you watch Zubimendi from Real Sociedad, it's like watching a more athletic Rodri. Super, just amazing technically, never loses the ball, reads the game. Like he is Rodri pretty much if you watch him for Real Sociedad. And Douglas Luiz also, because Douglas Luiz has a history with Man City. He's technical, and with Onana, I don't see it. The same with Paulinho. We were linked with Paulinho also before, because I just don't think they're good enough for the system. Not that I love them as players. I just don't think they're for our system.
So where's Havertz going?
I don't care.
Ash knows I have defended Havertz. I think he's gotten a lot of stick than needed. I think even in the Liverpool game, although he missed a lot of chances, he created most of these chances. He made really good runs. He built up the play. It's just, I just think Thomas Tuchel destroyed like every single attacking player that signed for Chelsea in the last 2 years and played under Tuchel and Lampard got completely destroyed. If you look at the players Chelsea signed, you cannot name me one attacking player. Like literally, they took Pulisic from being one of the best young wingers in Europe. He went to shit. They could barely sell him for like 20 million. Timo Werner.
I think that had a lot to do with the fact that he pulled his hamstring 3 times in like 9 months.
Yeah, that's true. And he was. I agree. And he was injury prone. Ziyech went from one of the most wanted wingers at Ajax, the most informed wingers, could barely start, and when he started was awful. Timo Werner. Yeah, Timo Werner, no comment there. Kai Havertz went from being one of the biggest wonder kids in Europe. Every single team wanted him, including Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. He went to Chelsea for a massive sum. He was a big letdown for many. Every single attacking player was a complete flop.
So why did you buy him?
Yeah, so for me, it's that 3 years really destroyed his confidence. So
why did you buy him then?
Sorry?
You knew what he was buying. You've watched him. You knew what he was buying. Havertz.
I'll be honest. I really didn't rate him at Chelsea, but he played at Chelsea. He played at Chelsea mainly as a number 9, and at Arsenal,
you're playing him as 8. He's a 10.
Yeah, we're playing him as his original the position that he became famous for at Leverkusen. So for me,
more a 10 than an 8 at Leverkusen.
Yeah, he was like a mix. He was a hybrid, but he played behind a.
We should call him
striker. Do you think that Arteta will get the best out of Havertz, or do you think he will die on a sword, even regardless of?
I told you this, Ash. If you read the stats of Arsenal defensively, especially, I know we haven't signed him for that, but hearing Spurs fans going on about the Timo Werner works hard.
Let's say it sounds identical, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of like Kai Havertz defensively, we are way more solid when he plays in midfield. We're much more we win the ball much higher up the pitch. At that, he's really good. And
a 6 then.
I agree, but I agree. He needs to do more attacking wise, but it takes time to rebuild your confidence. And I have hope that Arteta, if he spent that much money. Usually all of Arteta's big money signings, you cannot name one that hasn't worked out. One big money, like Ben White, really good. Declan Rice,
Ben White, really good. Why'd you buy Timber? Tomiyasu?
Because we needed options. Because apart from because Timber could play center back, left back, and right back, and he's just a really good player at Ajax. So he suited our system. And Don't forget, we sold Rob Holding, so we had no other option at center back. So Timber immediately fills up 3 places in the back line. And you saw it at the Community Shield. Arsenal fans will tell you this. At preseason and in the games that he played, he looked way more impressive than Declan Rice. In the Community Shield, he was arguably the man of the match. He was incredible, and we had poor luck. And I'm sure that if Timber had stayed fit, Timber would be a massive, massive contributor to the team. And especially if we had, for example, Timber or Tomiyasu against Liverpool at Anfield, we would have won that game. Because defensively, they don't make that mistake that Zinchenko did against Salah. They don't.
Salah does that to anybody, man.
Okay.
Quick one, guys. Obviously, this is a Spurs channel, and I do want to get rivals' thoughts, but just a quick one, because I've got a Chelsea fan here. I just really want to know, and I think I've asked him already about this, but I just want to go back on it because there are links. I just want to know, from your point of view, bro, just want to know a little bit again about Conor Gallagher.
Oh my God.
What are your thoughts on him? I just want to recap, because a lot of Spurs fans highly rate him. How did you see him?
Good player. And do you know what? Do you know what the thing is as well? People can say, "Oh yeah, you can be a good player in this Chelsea side. You can look good in this Chelsea side because this Chelsea side is shit." Yeah, fair enough. But when I watch football, I don't like I was trying to say to the guy earlier about Werner. Like I actually watch him in the flesh. I watch Werner live, and Werner would run and run and run and run and run and run and run, and that's what people want. People who are going to work. Conor Gallagher has worked twice as hard as Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo this season. Put Enzo and Caicedo's work rate together, and they've not done half as much as Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher has held Chelsea together this season. If it weren't for Conor Gallagher, we'd still be down there, bro. The amount of shit he breaks up. I'd like him to have more goals into his game. I genuinely think if he had more goals into his game, he would be. He'd be knocking on the door of England, I think. And we've got some serious midfielders in that squad as well, in the England squad. I genuinely think he'd be knocking on the door. If we sell Conor Gallagher this transfer window, I'm done with Chelsea for two reasons. One, how can you sell someone who's at the moment, because Reece James injured, your club captain to a rival in Tottenham, because that's apparently where he might be going, when you're halfway through your manager's first season? Who upstairs is making that decision? Like, that is ridiculous. That's like Liverpool saying, just to let you know, Jurgen, we're going to sell VVD, but he's going to City. No one's going to buy that. You're mad. That is ridiculous. No, Conor Gallagher is if Conor Gallagher don't win Chelsea's Player of the Year this year, there's a real problem. Because no one else has been good enough to deserve.
Yeah, he's been
Wow.
Simple as. You watch his. I guarantee you now, if someone's got a computer there and they can get stats up, have a look now. I bet if you look at his running stats this season, Conor Gallagher's top 3 in the league running stats.
Is it?
But this is the issue though, and that's why Chelsea are 10th. It's because Conor Gallagher is their best player, and Conor Gallagher.
The reason why Chelsea are 10th,
you can't finish.
Some idiot American took over, got rid of Tuchel, fucked Tuchel off out of it, and thought, I know what I'll do. I'll bring in Graham Potter. Then that didn't work. He was like, I know what I'll do. I'll bring in Poch. No, you want to win shit, Mr. Bowley? You bring in, and I had this conversation 2 weeks ago on the same channel. You want to bring someone in, bring in an elite manager. And unfortunately, there's only really 3 or 4 elite managers in the world. One's at City, one's at Liverpool. I class Mourinho as elite.
Ancelotti, no.
Ancelotti, that's the 4.
Yeah.
And the only one of them that's available anytime soon is Mourinho. I'm telling you now, if you give Mourinho the keys to Stamford Bridge with this group of players, you will see a massive improvement.
Well, he doesn't.
Mourinho with youngsters. It's gonna be the most poisonous dressing room because he's gonna call out the youngsters every single game.
Yeah, good. I'm glad he's gonna call them out. I'm glad he's calling out people like Mikhailo Mudryk that cost £90 million and a shit. Enzo Fernandez, £108 million. Enzo Fernandez couldn't lace my football boots.
What do you think about that whole fiasco with Silva? Because he went up to the fans afterwards, and rightly so, fans are giving him the.
No, they're not Chelsea fans. If they watch football, they're not Chelsea fans.
Yeah.
Thiago Silva, again,
class.
Probably behind Conor Gallagher, has been our second best player this season. Yeah. And the man's 39 years old. He's drawing a pension in 20 years.
Yeah, it's tragic to say that their 2 best players is an academy graduate who they obviously want to sell for FFP and a 39-year-old. Like, after spending so much money in the defense, their best player is still a 39, who's a class player, don't get me wrong, but he's 39. But for me, I don't rate Conor Gallagher, and I'll tell you why. I think he's an average to above average player. Why? Not because I agree with Chelsea view completely that he has, as they say here in the States, like he's got dog. He's got a really tough mentality. He never gives up. He leads by example. He fights. I like that about him. However, his quality on the ball is really poor. If you watch him, the moment players start to pressure him and he needs to get out of tight spaces, he's awful. He has no sense of space, his technical level. He has a pretty good shot, and he gets into the box from time to time and scored because he played for Palace as more of a box to box number 8. Whilst for Chelsea, what I've noticed is he plays more of a 6 as a defensive midfielder, as a pure one. But for me, I just don't think he's good enough. And I agree with him about that. He's completely outplayed Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo, but ability-wise, he's nowhere near Enzo Fernandez or Caicedo.
What
The
does
Caicedo, right?
what does Enzo Fernandez do that Conor Gallagher can't?
Come on, Enzo.
List it.
No, I'll tell you. Enzo Fernandez reminds me a lot of when Granit Xhaka came to Arsenal, which is Enzo Fernandez progresses the ball and puts it into the final third and does a lot of these things that are underappreciated and they're not noticed. However, because Enzo Fernandez, like Granit Xhaka, has obvious weaknesses, which is his athleticism,
ability.
Yeah, no, he's got great ability, man. I think Enzo is just he's in the wrong system in a poor team with a shit culture where like you have like 30 youngsters that they're not like they don't care. So for me, it's like I just think Enzo Fernandez, if you put him, for example, in an Arsenal or in a Man City, he'd be sick. I'll be honest. I don't think he would fit at Liverpool because I don't think he has the athletic qualities to play in the Liverpool system. But at Arsenal and Man City, on the ball, Enzo Fernandez would be really good, man. I just think he doesn't play in the right system for Chelsea.
I'll tell you what. Then you're Arsenal chairman. I'm Chelsea chairman. I'll do you a straight swap now. Fernandez for Rice. You're doing it.
Oh no, not Rice. Rice is amazing.
He's not that good, then, is he, bruv?
Yeah, okay, but Rice for I would say from August till like maybe to the start of December was arguably my player of the season in terms of the player of the season in the Premier League. Like Rice is an elite, in my opinion. Rice is one of the best midfielders in the league. Like Enzo, though, come on, man. When you watch Enzo and you see the touches, the passes, the way he passes through the lines, like you can see the quality is there. Like, come on, like
he's £109 million footballer.
But that's not his fault.
Ash has watched me play football. I can pass through the lines. It's not an hard thing to do, bruv. For £110 million,
really
I want him to be playing the guitar. I want him to be having the cymbals between his knees. I want him to be playing the recorder while sticking in 25 a season. He's £110 million footballer.
Yeah, okay, I agree with you, but one, it's not his fault. Kind of like the Anthony deal. It's not his fault that you guys. Let's be honest. You forced Benfica to sell him because you paid his release. You actually paid. I think you paid above his release clause, right? It was so you wanted it because you wanted to do it in installments. Benfica didn't want to sell him. They said he's not. So you had to overpay probably double the price that he was.
Yep.
But if you watch him, for example, the way I know international football is not the same level, but the way he plays for Argentina, he was a key player. He was a massive contributor to them winning the World Cup. I just think he's got so much quality. The same with Mudryk. I love Mudryk. I just think he's in the wrong team with the wrong coach, with just the wrong culture in order for him to actually succeed. I think if he goes to a team that is stable, that has like a certain I mean, Chelsea's just honestly, Chelsea is a shit show. Like, I don't know what's worse, Man United. I think Chelsea are worse because you signed 3 sporting directors. I think you fired 2 of them now, so you only have 1, or did you fire one of them? Like,
no, we bought Paul. We got Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Wright from Brighton, who are basically scouts.
Yeah, and then no, but you hired the RB Leipzig guy, right? He left, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy from RB. So you hired a guy from Man City who plays a possession-based football, and you hired another sporting director who plays the complete opposite from RB Leipzig, from the RB Leipzig tree. So it's a complete mess. I remember Thiago Silva doing an interview last year and like literally saying like, we cannot have 35 players in the dress. They had to build a separate dressing room, like a temporary dressing room, because it was too big and players couldn't change. Like, the team is a mess. And I just think that that's a major reason as to why, don't get me wrong, he doesn't have an excuse to play badly, but I really think Enzo Fernandez is the same with Caicedo, man. Caicedo has looked so bad. Every time I watch him play for Chelsea, he looks worse than I mean, he just looks average. Like, he's just not Brighton Caicedo, like nowhere near. So
do you know why he's not Brighton Caicedo?
Why?
It's simple. It's a 5-letter word: money.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Brian Caicedo. That's why he's not, because money. He's on a big contract. Don't give a toss.
The hunger's gone.
Yeah. You look at Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher, like, won't even compare him to Mason Mount because Mason Mount's just a disgusting little snake who should never be brought back to Stonebridge ever again. But Conor Gallagher, when Mason Mount was at Chelsea that season, we won the Champions League. He was without that our best player, Mason Mount, that season because he dragged that team to that final. You look at Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher would walk through fire for Chelsea Football Club. End of the day, I don't care what anyone says to me. They're the players you want to keep. Fuck off, Enzo Fernandez. Not interested in you. Not interested in Caicedo. Not interested in none of them. I'll put Alfie Gilchrist in midfield with Conor Gallagher. And
I love him, by the way. I love Alfie Gilchrist. I've been super impressed with him. Every time he plays, he's looked really good. I don't get why he doesn't try him out, but for me,
You've got Andre Santos. You've got Andre Santos on loan at Nottingham Forest.
Didn't play whatsoever.
Cesare Casadei on loan at Leicester. Them two would have got him before Caicedo and Fernandez in my team.
Oh, come on, man. You can't be this harsh on Fernandez.
Ash, can I just say very quickly, so to interrupt you, boys, very quickly, Conor Gallagher, if he does go to Spurs, is that permanent? Is that what the deal is? It's going to be a permanent deal?
It'll be a permanent deal. It'll be 40 to 50 million.
Chelsea supposedly wants 50. I read 50. If you guys pay 50, I mean, Chelsea are amazing. I don't know how they do it, even with like
50 is good. 50 is a good deal for Spurs.
How 50 million for Conor Gallagher?
Cheap.
Rice went for 100. That's the market.
Conor Gallagher can't lick Declan Rice's boots. I'm sorry.
It's not even
close.
About central midfield players in the market now, we bought Szoboszlai for 60. Rice went for 100.
You didn't buy Szoboszlai for 60. You bought him for 70. Let's not undervalue your transfers again.
It's 60 mil. But anyway, 60 mil. But anyway, Conor Gallagher for 50 to Spurs is a good piece of business. I think that will definitely, very quick for Spurs, it will definitely jump you up. Because remember I said at the start of the season, you had me on and I said, Basuma's already a monster. I wasn't sure what you was doing with your other central midfield players. But if you pair him with a Gallagher, then you've already got the forward line. When Son's back, you've got a decent forward line that's playing with this type of play that you kind of, the Spurs' new way of playing. It'll be good for you lot. I mean, obviously, I don't want to see my
Okay, Rich, let me ask you. You're going to pay 50 million. Is he better than Bentancur or Basuma? No, he's not. So you're paying 50 million for a bench player.
Yeah, he is.
But Stefan,
come on. He's not better than Bentancur.
Stefan, remember, managers need players for their system. So whether Bentancur is better or not is irrelevant if the system that they need to play involves a player like Gallagher. Now, you made a good point. Yeah, okay. You spoke about Rice. I think there was a discussion about Rice and Fernandez. Enzo,
yeah, there was. Yeah.
Again, we've seen what Fernandez looked like at Argentina.
But that's a lower level
person at Chelsea. It's again down to system and down to managers, about tactics. You need players for your style of play.
The structures as
well. If you put these people with the right system and the right tactics and everything around them, they will look better or look different. They look worse.
No. Also, I agree with you, but also in Enzo's defense, if you remember his first 3 months in Chelsea, he was really good. He was good. He was really good.
To be fair, you'd look good in a shit show.
He's so harsh on Enzo, man.
I'm not harsh on Enzo, but I'm not being funny. If you're £100 million footballer, not through his choice, by the way, that's the price that Chelsea have played. You got to step up, brother. You got to be better.
100%.
I agree.
You've got to be better. You've got to get over the game. You tell me the last game you saw Enzo Fernandez take by a scruff of the neck.
Arsenal. He played well against us.
He took by a scruff of the neck was Mexico in the second game of the World Cup for Argentina.
No, sorry. He played really well against City, man. When you drew 4-4, he was really good in that game. He even scored, I think.
No.
Did he not score? Did he not score? I don't remember.
That's another thing. You look at our midfield, and you look at all the great teams that have won Premier Leagues. Go through them all now. City, the Chelsea side that won Premier Leagues, even the Arsenal team that won Premier Leagues. I don't know if you was old enough for that, though, Steph, to be fair.
I was.
I wouldn't ask you, Ash, because you don't know. What I'm saying is, all them teams. You look at United back in the day. Paul Scholes was banging goals from midfield. Midfielders. You look at our midfielders. Enzo Fernandez, nope. Caicedo, nope. Gallagher, nope. Where's them goals coming from? Oh, that's right. They're coming from Mudryk. No, they're not. They're coming from Broja. No, they're not. They're coming from. No, they're not coming from him. Like, I can go on and on. People go, well, we need this.
That's a question, actually, John, about Nkunku. Do you think if Nkunku started the season, you lot would be higher up?
No.
Yeah,
No.
they would be. They would be
No.
still.
He's literally, if you look at Nkunku, I honestly, the more the Bundesliga players come to the Premier League, the more I don't rate the Bundesliga. I really think it's the most fraudulent league in terms of performance. If you look at all the big money signings from the Bundesliga, it's been a complete shit show.
Richie?
Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, do you agree?
You can argue Kai Havertz when he went the Chelsea move. Timo Werner. I'm trying to think who else.
Haaland.
Okay. Maybe not Haaland. Okay. But more.
KDB. Kevin De Bruyne come from Germany.
Okay.
Son
Keita.
came from Bundesliga as well.
Who Gil?
Son
First
came
of all,
from
don't use Bailey. Bailey's been
Granit
dog
Xhaka
shit
came
for
from
Villa
Bundesliga.
for the first 2 years. What? Sorry?
Him Son.
Granit Xhaka came from the Bundesliga.
Yeah, but Granit Xhaka for his first 3-4 years, he was shit at Arsenal. I rated him, but a lot of Arsenal fans didn't. He didn't play to the system that he was.
It was a tongue-in-cheek comment.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but still, I rate Granit. I thought selling him in the summer was a mistake, but going back to what I wanted to say was with Enzo, I agree with Ash. It's the system. He needs to play more suited to his needs. And £100 million player, I think you say that. I agree with you. You expect the Declan Rice, because Declan Rice, if you look at his game, he has no weaknesses. He's physical. He's good on the ball. He runs a lot. He rarely gets, another thing that's always underappreciated, rarely gets injured. Rarely.
I would say creativity is lacking from Declan
Yeah, but
Rice.
he's not supposed to be creative. He's
Sure
number
He
6.
can at least look over his shoulder and turn out.
He plays a lot of. He doesn't. He's not as brave enough to be on the ball in terms of like.
Yeah, he can. I mean, he's one of.
Why Jorginho's in the side.
No, I agree. No, Jorginho's in the side because Zinchenko isn't. And when Zinchenko isn't in the side, we don't progress the ball on the left-hand side of the pitch as well.
But then Rice, I don't know if he does that, if he's a ball progressor like
I
that.
agree. No, in terms of Rice can improve in terms of progressing and creating, but that's not his main job. His main job is to play. Yeah, he can, to be a complete midfielder. But he's 24. But if you look at, with Enzo, there's one glaring weakness. He's not athletic. You can see he gets caught up. He gets caught behind the ball a lot because he's just not athletic.
You don't need to be athletic though.
Enzo Fernandez is slow. Enzo Fernandez makes bad decisions. Enzo Fernandez gives the ball away in ridiculous places because he's trying to play these passes because everyone blew him up at the World Cup. Enzo Fernandez is not a £100 million footballer. End of conversation.
No, that one, we all agree on that. But I just think Enzo Fernandez gets a lot of criticism, more so based on the price tag. Like the players that I've watched play for Chelsea, like I think Caicedo has been much worse for Chelsea than Enzo. Much worse. Like Caicedo looks, I don't know what you think, John, but he looks like he's forgotten how to play football, man. Caicedo. He just runs around and tackles. That's all he does, Caicedo. At Brighton, he would run into the box. He would shoot from long range. He would score goals. He would create chances. Like he would win the ball. At Chelsea, he plays as just a ball-winning midfielder. He just tackles. That's all he does. He doesn't build up the play. It's like he's forgotten how to play. I'm really shocked at how much Caicedo has gone down. I really think, and Enzo gets more flack for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because the errors that he makes are more just like Granit Xhaka. When Granit Xhaka used to make an error, it was always like a bad error. It was never like the ball would go out for a throw in or it would go for a corner. When Granit Xhaka would make a mistake, it would lead either to a big chance or to a goal. And I think with Enzo, it's the same. Because he's trying too hard. He's trying to create too much for a team that, let's be honest, apart from Cole Palmer, you don't have any creative players. Sterling plays really well one game and then is awful another 3 games. Mudryk is really raw. Madueke is League One level. Yeah, he's shit. I agree. He's dog shit. Your defense is a joke. That's like Benoit Badiashile, man, and Disasi. I'm like Badiashile. Every time I watch Badiashile, he makes a mistake. Like he's awful.
I won't have Badiashile because I think there is a centre back in Badiashile, but Disaster needs to go.
Yeah,
Disaster. I don't even know why he come, let alone go. I don't know why he come.
Why does he? Can you explain to me? Why does he play Levi Cole at left back? Can you explain to me what's the reason?
Levi Cole only left-footed player we've got other than Cucurella and Chilwell in defence. which is a sad thing to say, really, when they're all multi-million-pound footballs, but none of them can use their left peg.
I mean,
Guys, just a quick one, guys. Just a quick one. Because I want to wrap up soon.
yeah.
Just want to know: can Liverpool win the league?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I don't think their defense is good enough. But yeah, that's just me. I think they give away far too many chances.
If Liverpool get Salah back, Trent back, Szoboszlai back, and they're still top of the league, yeah, 100%.
Szoboszlai's been Let's be honest, Szoboszlai's been shit for like 2 months. He hasn't been good.
Let's be sensible. It's not shit. He's been up and down, up and down.
He got dropped, Rich. He got dropped. Come on, man.
It's up and down.
Dominic Szoboszlai is a baller, 100%.
Why? Because he runs around a lot and shoots from long range. He loses the ball so much. I don't see the hype.
And Declan Rice is a safety player. Everybody has their position on the field.
Got to take risks.
I mean, if you speak to Man United fans, I really rate Bruno Fernandes. But one of the biggest criticisms that Man United fans who don't rate Bruno Fernandes is, and I see it also, is he tries too many Hollywood passes and shots. And Dominic Szoboszlai.
Bruno Fernandes is a petulant prick.
Okay, forget the petulance. I'm talking about his on the field play. He tries too many times the most difficult pass, the most extravagant pass, and loses the ball far too much. Just like Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai loses the ball a lot because he tries to shoot from long range. He tries to do a 70-yard through ball or a 70-yard diagonal pass, and that's why I think I rate McAllister far more than
McAllister's been worse, my friend.
McAllister's been worse because he's been playing him as a 6. That's why it's been worse, and he's not a DM. But okay,
I agree, but he's been worse same way. But
what was your answer? Do you think they can win the league?
We can win the league for sure. I think a lot of it will hang on the next 4 weeks. We don't have a lot of games, but it's more like how long will Salah be away for? We can cope with the next few games because we've got no choice. But if Egypt are going to go a long way in this competition, which they're projected to do so, we could be up without him for a while. We've also lost our DM Endo, who's been really good. He's been a bit of a steal.
Yeah.
We don't really have a lot of players like that at the club, so we've lost him for a few games as well. But I'm optimistic because up until the 4th of February, we should be comfortable. We go back to Emirates.
Yeah.
Like I said, we do all right there. So after that, then we've got a run of games where we should be okay. And then we get to the busy end.
Trent Alexander-Arnold, is he not missing?
It should be 4 weeks. It should be 4 weeks.
Okay.
But I think we've got a break in that 4 weeks. I think there's like a 10-day gap of no.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's like a winter break.
Yeah, so
there is.
It should be okay. I mean, it's the best time for this to happen.
Right. Okay.
I completely agree. They can win the league. Look at Man City. Arsenal are going through their blip right now, through their rut.
Well, can Arsenal win the league? Can Arsenal win?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, they can.
Of course. I honestly prefer us to go through the rut now than to go through the ruts like we did last year in April and in March.
But what if you don't come out of the rut?
I think we will. I think if you look at the underlying stats, out of those games that we played, the only bad game we played against was Fulham. And even in that game, we had more shots, more possession, we had more XG, with everything. We were the better team. If you look at pure stats, if you look at all of the games, the West Ham game we lost, we had like 35 shots. We missed so many. It just wasn't our day. The Liverpool was.
Yeah, but Stefan, remember what I said? This is a results business. Pretty football only gets you so far. You gotta be ruthless at some point.
Richie, I completely agree with you. I just think that you cannot have this luck where you continuously outplay teams and you don't win. It will click at some point. We will win a game. We will that Liverpool game. Let's be honest. If it was replayed 9 out of 10 times, we win that game because Arsenal in their form, we're 3-0 up at halftime. We're 2 or 3-0 up at halftime. So For me, that's the only thing that I'm holding to, where even though we're playing badly, we still don't concede chances. We still, like, for example, just to give you guys a broad view of how I would say lack of finishing and unlucky at the same time. Arsenal have had 61 shots, okay, and they've scored only 3 goals. They have conceded 11 shots and 11 shots in the last 4 to 5 games in terms of on target, and they have scored 5 goals, which is ridiculous, like ridiculously effective and ridiculously unlucky. We've conceded the least amount of shots of any team in the league, yet we've just managed to concede goals to the last 3 games. So that type of, I think that metric will start to kind of take shape. It will start to balance itself out. That's what I believe. I might be optimistic. You might guys say I'm delusional. I still think we're a good team. Watching us completely outplay Liverpool the way we did, where they couldn't get out of their half for pretty much 40 to 45 minutes. They could barely pass out. I was super impressed with the way we played. We didn't play badly against Liverpool. We just didn't finish. And, for me, it just will get better. And to be honest, I'm happy now. We're in Dubai, where we're going to have a break, have some sunshine, recharge, kind of rest a little bit, and then come back.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and then come back.
We could be here all night, but I'm going to end it there. I want to just, first of all, thank everyone that's been in the comments, you've been making the show even more debatable. And yeah, big up my panel, man. It's been a strong panel. There's been a lot of opinions flying in and out, and I was trying to get everyone to have their say. But yeah, I want to thank, first of all, Rich making the late appearance, but it was a strong appearance when he did come on.
Thanks for having me.
We'll get you back on the show as soon as possible, man, because your views and your voices are appreciated. The Chelsea view, you're always welcome here as well. Big yourself up, man. I know you're like a gentleman, so you want to wait your turn. I know you've got a lot on your mind, a lot to say, and that's just basically how you do it. So I respect that as well. But yeah, big yourself up. Thanks for coming on again. And Stefan, as always, man, it's always a pleasure. We always like to hear you. I feel we're going to have you on again as well. Many more debates to have as well. Also want to big up Uncle Yomes. Obviously, he's not here right now. But yeah, he gave his input on United. He's a 10 hug me, not sure. But we'll get his views as the season goes on. I'll have him back.
Where did Jones have to go? Do you have to take his Spanish to fix the Stretford end?
Well, Yomes, if you're still watching, I want you to reply to that. I don't know. We might have to get that answer from Yomes. I can't speak for our next man, personally. And also, I want to give a massive shout out to Jacob. Jacob came in, obviously, did his thing.
Firing.
Came out firing,
It was firing.
Fought a good fight, man. So big up to Jacob as well. I'm going to have to get him back on as well when he's in the studio as well, because I feel like he was not in his normal territory, but he did his thing. He did his thing still. So there'll be many more rival shows. I was going to do all Man United this tonight, but I said, you know what, I can't. There's too much to talk about. Arsenal, Liverpool. Even though it was a Spurs channel, Spurs menu preview, I thought we did that well. But yeah, guys, once again, big up to yourselves. Even the people at home, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. All that,
guys. Good night.
Biggest up. Peace up.
Right, boys.
My new Spurs. Come on.